operations in America has been busted. The site, called Fire Bunny USA, allegedly shipped hard drugs to all 50 states before finally being shut down by the feds. Authorities in Manhattan saying today that the site raked in more than $7 million in cryptocurrency over the years. It's 57 degrees, partly cloudy in Fresno. Expect a high of 61 today. Warmer and sunny this weekend, highs in the mid-60s. On Wall Street today, the closing numbers for you. The Dow closed up 129 points. The S&P 500 off a fraction. The Nasdaq down by nearly 70. With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, I'm Blake Taylor, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Chlorinated water is for swimming, not drinking or bathing. Cities add chlorine to your water, causing dry skin and hair. A LifeSource water system is the solution to your water worries. A LifeSource system filters your water from every tap, reducing the harsh taste and feel of chlorine and giving you softer skin and hair without maintenance, no salt, filters, or servicing. Call 559-330-1850 for a free consultation or visit lifesourcewater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059. This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
.204 News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Friday installment of your afternoon drive. My name's Philip Teresi. Your phones are going to be open at 490-5858. Toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. Find the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Drive KMJ, and watch the show streaming live on YouTube, on twitch.tv, and on Facebook Live, also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon. So we pick up more or less where we left off yesterday, but with an update, a couple of updates. And the first and the most important is I spoke with the mom of the child who was battered at Bullard High School earlier this week. Of course, we aren't giving out the kid's name, and at this point, I'm hanging back on even giving too much of mom's name. But I talked with mom earlier today, and she wants to talk to you guys. She's looking forward to coming in and saying her piece. Can't do it today because she's back at work today after taking time off to be with her kid, and just help the child process what happened and what is happening. But the family, so that you are aware, is now at this point seriously considering transferring this kid out of Bullard High School because of the response. Not the fact that a fight happened, not the fact that there is a slow process in investigating and appropriately responding to violence. We all understand that. We have all understood that from the word go. The frustration and even the fear comes from a school that appears to be more concerned with minimizing attention to a bad thing and avoiding acknowledging the victim's needs openly and directly. Now, as far as I know, and based on the conversations that I've had with mom, nothing's set in stone yet. But she's up. She's smiling. She's a good kid, and she's going to be fine. And her mom's going to be fine. But there is an understandable amount of frustration and an understandable sense of discouragement because of what has transpired and the way that the family feels that this child has been treated. Now, does that mean that everybody at Bullard High School is stupid, bad, wrong, and evil? No, of course not. There's a student population to the order of 2,500 kids. There are hundreds of teachers and staff members who care very deeply about doing the right thing every day. There is a campus administration that for the most part cares very deeply about doing the right thing and tries to do right by the kids every day. But there is a district office that wants to play games instead of addressing the story. Nobody's asking the district office to break the law. Nobody expects the district office to serve up this child who committed a crime on a silver platter. That's not what any of us want, because the truth is this child who committed a crime still very much has potential for correction. With some discipline, some redirection, this kid will be fine. They made a mistake. They did a stupid, bad thing. That doesn't mean that they themselves are worthless. And I mentioned when I was talking with Clint Olivier that there was an op-ed that was brought to my attention that I feel very strongly answers some of the frustrations of the family of the girl who was battered. I think it addresses very appropriately the obvious but as yet unarticulated concerns of the family of the batterer. And it also addresses the way that the school district, and in particular, Superintendent Bob Nelson and Chief Communications Officer Nikki Henry, along with Trustee Susan Wittrup, how they have failed to handle this situation appropriately. And I want to share this with you. And I said this yesterday. Today is not going to be a lot of me reading into the microphone. But I want to share this op-ed with you because it really hits the nail on the head. And not only is it important for us to hear from people who say things of value, but there's a piece that I'm going to reveal at the end. I'm going to bury the lead, if you will, so that you can follow me through how good this answer is and how frustrating the response of Trustee Susan Wittrup, Superintendent Bob Nelson, Chief Communications Officer Nikki Henry actually are. The title of the op-ed is Teachable Moment Over Bullard High Social Media Posting Must Not Be Lost in Aftermath. Because this battery that occurred on the Bullard campus, if you didn't know, was posted to social media, adding insult to injury, increasing the longevity of one student's humiliation and another student's demonization. And so we read, like many Fresno residents, I was deeply shocked recently by a video portraying a student at Bullard High School kicking another student in the head. How can any student possibly feel safe at school after an incident like this? Given the intense reaction this story garnered, Fresno Unified owes it to students, staff, and parents to conduct a thorough investigation to fully understand how this happened. More importantly, Superintendent Bob Nelson and the board trustees should make the results of the investigation public and articulate a steadfast commitment to protect the safety and well-being of the students. As long as violence exists in society, it will exist in our schools. For the adults, it's time for us to take a step back. The impact of reacting to our own unprocessed trauma, personally and collectively, can be just as detrimental as the incident itself, sometimes more so. It is incumbent on each of us to examine our own attitudes and to extinguish hate and violence wherever we encounter it. As a school psychologist, I've heard conflicting reports about what occurred on campus. I'm concerned there is more to this story than any single video could portray. Knee-jerk reactions aimed to stoke fervor only serve to further traumatize the very students who need our protection and with whom we are entrusted to teach. Caught up in a crisis, we're quick to adopt a zero-tolerance policy and simply suspend or expel those involved to stop the behavior and restore a sense of safety at the school. But short-term fixes have unintended consequences. Quickly expelling students may inadvertently overpunish some, resulting in resentment and lawsuits, thereby potentially pushing deeply troubled youth into circumstances that only sharpen their desire to commit further harm. Equally destructive is when concerns are brushed off, allowing pain and resentment to fester. We must focus on how actions that harm others, regardless of intent, can be repaired, not swept under the rug, because the individual didn't mean to do anything wrong. In the aftermath of an incident, adult responses must be informed by facts before taking actions that minimize or exaggerate what occurred. Another challenge is having the trained staff and supportive structures in place to address incidents strategically, and the determination, courage, and wisdom to follow through despite the media attention and demands from parents and students who feel powerless to make it stop. The phrase teachable moment is used to describe a point in time when educators have the opportunity to deliver a powerful message in a way that makes a light go on. Teachable moments are not just for kids. Adults need to learn from them as well. Schools that take a proactive approach can manage the impact, take a proactive approach and use restorative processes, can manage the impact of harmful incidents, increase empathy, and rebuild their school culture. Restorative justice is an umbrella term for practices aimed at changing responses, reducing trauma, and healing. Schools with restorative justice structures in place can move quickly to de-escalate tension and identify pathways for people to take responsibility and show willingness to make amends. For the students involved to hear directly from their peers how their actions impacted them can be transformative. This kind of intensive supportive engagement helps them gain perspective on the roots of their anger and other emotions. When restorative justice processes are done well, all participants will experience an increased sense of safety, accountability, closure, and a greater possibility for real changes in behavior and attitudes. The district should go even further to address violence with the development of curriculum that focuses on the history of violence in Fresno so that teachable moments can continue for years to come. It's not often we get handed sweeping teachable moments. It's my hope we can all learn from this one. It is, in every way, an intelligent and thoughtful statement about how the Fresno Unified School District and the administration at Bullard High School could and should have addressed this issue. The problem is it predates this issue by most of a year because it was actually written in May of 2022. It was not written about video of a child getting kicked in the skull on the Bullard campus. It was written about the weight room KKK photo incident. And yet every word of it makes sense. It continues to resonate. My frustration, however, is that it comes from the Bullard area trustee, Susan Wittrup, when she was running for office. I don't know what happened to this version of Susan Wittrup. She advocates intelligently, passionately, thoughtfully for a teachable moment to improve the outcomes for both of the students involved in a stupid, racist moment, which, by the way, after investigation turned out to be a bunch of Hispanic kids playing with a compression sock. Doesn't change what the picture looked like, and there's no excuse that makes it not look like a Klan hood. But that investigation never resulted in a clear and coherent explanation of the facts of the situation. Susan Wittrup makes a perfect case for why the district needs to be clear about how they deal with these situations. She makes a perfect case for how the administration, both at Bullard High and on the Board of Trustees on which she was elected to serve, can do better for all of these kids. Most importantly, the students involved in this battery. But today, Susan Wittrup will not talk to you. She will not answer my phone calls. She will not accept my invitation to come on this show. She refuses to address this incident. Her passion for taking a inexcusable moment and converting it to a teachable moment has apparently disappeared post-election. And the chief communications officer is basing her refusal to schedule the superintendent to talk with this radio station, which again, it's not about this radio station, it's about you. It's about all the people who are out there who are listening, who are paying taxes, who are participating in the city of Fresno every day, who have kids in Fresno Unified. And she rationalizes this with a study that was commissioned to examine parent engagement. A study that involved 733 people, which when converted to a per campus number means that 6 families per campus, 6 people per campus were asked about their media consumption habits, which means that just at Bullard High School, 6 families spoke for 2,500 families. And by the way, the metrics that we have on engagement from families with children in the city of Fresno, county of Fresno, between the ages of 6 years of age and 17 years of age, shows that we have nearly half of the district population tuning in at some point in the broadcast day. And our sample size is much larger and is based on numbers that go back years historically. The Fresno Unified School District is disrespecting you. The Fresno Unified School District doesn't want to talk about this embarrassing and unfortunate incident. And rather than simply answer straightforward questions that anybody holding the title of Chief Communications Officer, Superintendent, or Board Trustee should be able to answer, not after research, but off the top of their head. It should worry you deeply about what's happening in that school district. It should bother you tremendously. It bothers me. As a Fresno Unified parent, I'm worried. And as a taxpayer, as a voter, I'm done with all of these fools. Bob Nelson says, fire me in 5 years if we don't get any results. The man's paid almost as much as the President of the United States, and he's too important to talk to you. You don't count. When we get back, we'll talk about the story as reported by our news partner, Fox 26. And then we will move forward for now. But you will be hearing more about this young lady and her family and what does or does not get accomplished by the Fresno Unified School District. I'm Philip Teresi. You're listening to KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. You need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft sandy soils of the west, the clay and cobble of the east, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit stricklandwelldrilling.com.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me, did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Contact the text group for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this, because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call the tax group right now at 800-743-9157. The tax group will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-743-9157 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-743-9157. 800-743-9157. 800-743-9157.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
Mike Sherinian, owner of The Elbow Room.
Brunch has become the most rockin' day of the week, and we've made it now 2 days. So Saturday and Sunday brunch starts at 10 in the morning, and what really makes those 2 days unique is that you can get 14 or 15 different brunch items, and then you can get another 20 lunch items. There's going to be something for everybody.
Partner that delicious brunch with one of The Elbow Room's specialty craft cocktails and make a toast to great taste. Try our famous Bloody Mary topped with applewood smoked bacon. Our tangy guava delight is sure to wake up your taste buds. And the blood orange bourbon sour is brimming with flavor. A full craft cocktail menu awaits at The Elbow Room.
And that gives you every reason to come in on Saturday and Sunday, because nobody's going to say, well, I can't get what I want. Brunch is where it's at.
The Elbow Room in Big Garden Village. Call 227-1234 to make your reservations.
Treat yourself to something great.
$2:25 on your afternoon drive. Here's Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. So our news partner, Fox 26, has a story on the Bullard High Battery. And they share a blurred, of course, when you've got kids, you can't show their faces. But an edited, a blurred version of the video of this battery on the Bullard High School campus. And they talked to Mom. Mom says she wants more to be done about school violence. Her comment to Fox 26 was, "My daughter was brutally attacked by a fellow student, and I have zero faith that the female that wailed viciously and kicked my daughter in the head while she was curled up in the fetal position will get adequate punishment." She also explains how the fight started. It was a big circle of people that were trying to have this thing happen for no real reason. The aggressor goes up to her daughter. Her daughter says, "I don't know you," and repeats several times, "I don't know you. No, really, I don't know what you're talking about." The other girl pulls off her backpack and starts swinging. Her daughter didn't throw a single punch. It's confirmed by the video. Nobody tried to stop the fight. Instead, you hear kids in the background cheering on the attacker. And after talking to school officials, Mom says it seemed like they were not going to take any action. The school district, as they said to me, and which we know to be correct and true, says that it cannot disclose details of disciplinary actions. No, it cannot disclose confidential student information. You can absolutely talk about what the consequences are for a criminal battery on your campus. You may not be able to say, and so this student was, dragged out by their heels, thrown in the back of a cop car, and booked. You can say, when a battery occurs on the Bullard High School campus, the student involved in the battery or students involved in the battery will be arrested and will be prosecuted. All information will be turned over to law enforcement. Any student engaged in a violent battery on our campus may be suspended or may be expelled. You can say those things. You can't say Philip Teresi's being suspended pending expulsion after his arrest. And they gave the same boilerplate non-answer to Fox 26 News that they gave to me. The school responded quickly and handled the incident in accordance with our policies, the law, and the education code. Parents of both parties were notified, and appropriate discipline has been rendered. Appropriate social and emotional support is being provided, and the school site is continuing to investigate to ensure the root of the problem is addressed to prevent any further altercations between the students. Well, right there, Nikki Henry, the chief communications officer of the Fresno Unified School District, is either ignorant or lying, because the Fresno Unified School District has done nothing for the victim of this battery. They have done nothing for this victim of this battery because that child has not been back to school, and her mother does not want her talking to the school because the child is traumatized by the violence and the lack of responsiveness and empathy she received from the school. Like I told you earlier, they are very seriously considering simply not going back to Bullard. So the Fresno Unified School District is lying when they say that they have offered appropriate social and emotional support. They haven't. They haven't done anything. They haven't been allowed to. And again, the school responded quickly and handled the incident in accordance with our policy, the law, and the education code. Spell it out. Communications means communicating. Mom says that the district statement is not true. Mom says that the school did not take action right away, and that when she reached out to the school psychologist the day after the battery, the school psychologist didn't know anything about it. Mom says she had to push to get any response from school officials to even try to have disciplinary action move forward. At one point, Mom says school site administration told her that there was reports that her daughter was to blame. Then Mom posted about it. What do I do? How do I deal with this? How do I protect my kid? The response that she got from the school was, oh, well, maybe the other student will be suspended. Mom doesn't feel like that's enough. We'll continue with the report and comments from the mother of the Bullard High battery victim when we get back after an update of headlines from Blake Taylor in the KMJ newsroom.
KMJ News now.
Thanks, Philip. 2:31 here at KMJ. Good afternoon. I'm Blake Taylor in the KMJ News Center. A deadly crash under investigation in South Fresno. Cops say a woman was struck and killed by a car around 6 a.m. on Belmont near Palm. The driver did stay at the scene and was cooperating. The victim has not been ID'd. Lawsuits already being filed now against Norfolk Southern. That's the train company in charge of the train that derailed in Ohio and burst into flames. Ray Hall is one of those in the midst of the lawsuit.
I haven't really experienced anything health-related that I know of at this point. But most of it was just the extreme stress and anxiety, of having that only 7/8 of a mile from where we live.
The U.S. military conducting a dramatic raid today against ISIS. Fox's Ryan Schmelz has the latest from the White House.
The man who oversaw the deadly terrorist network for ISIS in eastern Syria has been killed. That according to the CENTCOM spokesperson, who says U.S. service members conducted a raid to kill Hamza al-Hamzi. John Kirby of the National Security Council says 4 U.S. service members and 1 working dog were injured from the explosion.
The troops and the working dog are in stable condition.
CENTCOM says a separate ISIS raid the same night caused the death of an ISIS assassination cell leader. At the White House, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
On Wall Street today, the Dow closed higher by nearly 130 points. Forecast for today, expect a high of 61. It's 58 right now in Fresno. A real nice weekend ahead. Saturday and Sunday highs in the mid-60s with sunny skies. With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, I'm Blake Taylor. News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Free grand opening specials. McCaffrey Homes will unveil 11 new model homes at Tesoro Viejo. Recently awarded as the nation's Community of the Year. Priced from the high 300s to low 800s, the Poppy, Savannah, and Ivy home collections offer designs with 2 to 5 bedrooms that fit all lifestyles and budgets. Visit today to save thousands on pre-grand opening specials. Discover the place named Nation's Community of the Year at Highway 41 and Avenue 15, just minutes north of River Park. Learn more at McCaffreyHomes.com.
We've all been called to bless kids in our communities, and Cars4Kids.org is helping generous and faithful listeners like you make a difference with that unused or unwanted vehicle. Donate your car, truck, van, motorcycle, or boat in any condition, and your blessing will go directly to kids and provide mental health services, education, food, housing, and basic necessities. So please call 866-835-5437 or give now at Cars4Kids.org. That's Cars4Kids.org. And right off the car, not the kid.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm.
Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed, because there's nothing better than staying in.
It's new, it's huge, and he's there 7 days a week. Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. Where? Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's. There is nothing like this.
All the symptoms, let's defeat it. Test it, treat it, you can beat it. Test it. If you feel sick, test to know if it's COVID. Treat it. Medication is key to slow the virus in your body. Beat it. Recover smoother. You may test negative sooner. California, you know you need it. Test it, treat it, you can beat it.
Yeah. Visit youcanbeatit.org or call 833-422-4255 to ask for medication to treat COVID-19. Sponsored by the California Department of Public Health.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
I hate this guy. This guy's a jerk.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
.235 on your afternoon drive. It's a Friday afternoon at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. My name is Philip Teresi. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858. You can also join me toll-free at 800-776-5858. Folks starting to chime in over on Facebook Live as well. You can find that at Drive KMJ. If I didn't already say that, forgive me. Was sharing with you the reporting from Myra Franco over at our news partner, Fox 26. She talked with the mother of the Bullard High battery victim. And where we left off, she was just picking up on comments from former trustee Terry Sladek, the only person that's ever had trustee in their title that apparently is willing to lower themselves to speak to KMJ. He says the victim is the one who's being blamed. What they do, it's egregious. I got to see it firsthand. He also says, we're going to have a dead kid on a Fresno Unified campus because of this district's leadership failures. Sladek makes the observation that this kind of violence, this kind of bad behavior, will continue on Fresno Unified campuses as long as the Fresno Unified School District allows it, because the students know that there are little to no consequence. Now, mom went to Facebook asking for advice and guidance and help getting her kid what she needs after being attacked like this. School psychologist had no idea anything had happened. For a district that was making all the appropriate emotional supports available, nobody talked to anybody until all of a sudden it was to tell the KMJ audience that you don't matter and they don't want to talk to you. Mom says that when she posted to Facebook her questions, her fears, her plea for guidance, that the principal of Bullard High School asked her to take it down because, quote, it made the school look bad. I wish I could tell you for sure that that's not something that was said. I can't tell you that for sure because Principal Tarigian won't answer my efforts at contact. Neither will the trustee for the Bullard High area, Susan Wittrup, who once upon a time believed that a big part of dealing with problems on campus was transparency and clarity and communication with the community. Superintendent Nelson is crickets on this, but I believe that that's consistent with Bob Nelson's habit of only ever speaking to the media when he is going to be told how great he is. That militant positivity doesn't have room for dealing with a child getting kicked in the head. And then, of course, the chief communications officer for the school district, Nikki Henry, who believes that nobody from Fresno Unified listens to KMJ. That there are so few worthy families listening to this radio station that it is simply beneath the Fresno Unified School District to provide any responsible party to comment to you. Now, never mind that the school was founded, the entire function of public school, not just Fresno Unified, not just Bullard, the entire function of public school is to serve the community. It is to prepare children for adulthood by preparing them to join the workforce. That's the function of public school. That's why we're taxed on it. The whole idea is that you are able to read, to write, to do arithmetic, and to function in an environment that isn't controlled by your mommy. That's what public school was founded to do. That, at its core, is the purpose of public school. Now, there are public schools that still manage to do that. Fresno Unified is not one of those districts. Their scores are in the bottom 5% nationwide. Despite having a $2 billion budget, they don't graduate children who read, who can write, who can do arithmetic. But they score really good on parent engagement. Now, remember, part of their consideration for parent engagement was a survey of 773 people that told the chief communications officer that only a tiny, tiny percentage of Fresno Unified families even know that KMJ exists. And so, therefore, the KMJ audience is simply not worth their time, and they will not provide people to do interviews with this outlet. Never mind that every single one of you who pays property taxes is contributing to their $2 billion budget, including Nikki's paycheck, Bob Nelson's massive paycheck. Wouldn't you like to make $400,000 a year? Josh, what wouldn't you do for $400,000 a year? I mean, like there's stuff. There's definitely stuff. But, you know, if we could make $400,000 a year doing the OnlyFans thing, those cameras would be much better quality at this point. That's your money. You're paying him almost as much as we pay the President of the United States. And he won't talk to you. You're not worth it. You don't count. And Susan Wittrup, who came riding in on a wave of endorsements, she actually took time to email me and tell me directly she won't talk to me because she feels that me being angry that Bullard was more concerned about Bullard's image than taking care of a child who got kicked in the head is sensationalistic. Am I pissed? You're damn right I am. Am I going to keep yelling about it? Oh, baby girl, you know it. Am I doing this for whatever? I'm doing this because I'm a dad. I'm doing this because I'm a Fresno Unified parent. I'm doing this because I've raised 2 kids. And I know what it feels like to worry about your kids. And I know what it feels like when your kid isn't happy, doesn't feel safe, isn't comfortable at school. I know exactly where this kid's mom is. I know how she feels. Now, my kids never got subjected to that kind of violence. I did have a bullying situation with my older kid. It got sorted out, but that's because he was going to a Clovis school. To be perfectly frank, that was the difference. Clovis Unified wouldn't put up with it. So it got dealt with quickly. And there was no, well, according to policy, we can't say anything. We were told the situation is being handled. We cannot disclose the private information about another student, but we can tell you that your child will not encounter this student on campus again. And that was that. Satisfactory. Not total catharsis, but rarely in life do we get total catharsis. The lie of closure. The Fresno Unified School District doesn't want to talk about this because it makes them look bad. Because it's a failure. Fights are going to happen on campus, and sometimes fights are going to be really one-sided, and that sucks. Acknowledging that, dealing with that, would be the right thing to do. There would be no story here. None. If we had a school and an administration that had acknowledged that something wrong occurred and that the consequences for that something wrong would be serious and would ensure the safety of the victim of the battery when she returned to campus. Instead, they've tried to make it about me not being nice. The number of times in my life that I have watched somebody try to skirt responsibility by claiming that my tone, the way that I am, somehow justifies them being cowardly or selfish or hateful. I don't know how people that thin-skinned operate in the world. I don't know why I'm surprised that a district that spends all of its time fussing about parent engagement scores instead of making sure that the kids can read. I don't know why I'm surprised that it would be run by people who are more concerned that the media be nice, only say nice things. I'm fed up with the school district, man. The nice things are done and over with until there is actual accountability. And frankly, until I hear that Nikki Henry has been cut loose from her post and that Bob Nelson has been released from his contract, I'm not going to be satisfied with this district. And I'm not going to give this Board of Trustees any peace. And if they want to write it off as, oh, he's being sensationalistic, go to kmph.com. Look for the article titled Bullard High Parent Calling for Action After Watching School Fight Video. You know the story now. I've told it to you. Just watch the video at the top. It's not long. It'll only take you a minute or two to get there and to watch the video. There might be a little pre-roll ad. Go watch that video and then tell me how nice you would be if that was your kid. Tell me how patient you would be with a failure of communication if that was your kid. Tell me if you would take down the Facebook post asking for help if that was your child getting repeatedly kicked in the skull while some braying idiot laughs and screams and videotapes it. And a kid who needs a completely different kind of help runs roughshod unchecked. Go watch the video. You tell me if I'm being sensationalistic or if I am simply acting like a normal and decent human being, expecting a school district to be forthcoming about this and to treat this family with the respect and the care that this family deserves. Trying to put this off as it's being sensationalized is cowardly at best. And what I think it really is deceptive and dishonest. And it's an effort to once again make the issue about something other than the issue, which the Fresno Unified is failing its kids. Not just that they can't read or write or do math, but that they can't be safe on Fresno Unified campuses.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Coming up this March 25th at the Grand in downtown Fresno, Community Health Systems Founders Club invites you to experience an evening of fire and ice. This new must-attend event supports local neuroscience care and building the future Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute.
Thanks to major sponsors, Facility Designs, West Tech Systems, and Queering General.
It's not too late to become a sponsor or buy a table. Go to kmjnow.com for more information.
Remember the day when you walked into an old-fashioned hardware store, poured yourself a cup of coffee, and they treated you like family?
Hey, Bob. Hey, Warren. I need to get this screen fixed. Well, bring it over here.
That's still what you'll find when you shop Morris Levin & Son, your hometown hardware store. Customer service has been our priority since 1934, with employees like Warren who'll ask the right questions so you get everything you need to finish that job. And Maria, who has greeted customers at the counter for over 25 years. So the next time you need plumbing, electrical, paint supplies, firearms, or anything hardware, head over to Morris Levin & Son in Tulare. It's where service and people are our priority and have been since 1934. Open 7 days a week at 1816 South K Street in Tulare. We look forward to seeing you.
We've got what you need to get the job done. Morris Levin & Son.
Are you like me? You like to play around with your truck or your Jeep? Whether that vehicle is just a toy or maybe it's your office, it's your work. That's how you make your living because of your truck. Every single need you have with that vehicle is met by the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, me, Ray Appleton. I'm talking about this great company that I have been involved with for a couple of decades now. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many different dealerships here in Central California have used the Noble Brothers for years to finish their trucks. But you want to finish that after purchase build out? Your partner on that one has to be the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Centers. Two of them, one out in Sunnyside, the other at Blackstone and Sierra. Hey, you got a fifth wheel? You need the Noble Brothers. They have gooseneck hitches, and yes, they have B&W. You need a bed liner? A ladder rack? You have a Jeep Wrangler like me. You want to lift it? Big tires, wheels, all kinds of lights. For 42 years, it's the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Centers.
California's #1 selling RV dealer does it again. Best RV presents its blowout RV sale now through March 5th. Come in now and see hundreds of motorhomes, toy haulers, fifth wheels, travel trailers, tent trailers, as well as Class A, B, and C. The selection is endless at Best RV. Best RV has the lowest prices, free dealer prep, and no hidden fees. Financing available. Best RV's huge blowout sale with deep discounts. It couldn't be a better time to get down to Best RV. Check them out at 5340 Taylor Court in Turlock or online at bestrv.com.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit stricklandwelldrilling.com. Whether it's the soft sandy soils of the west, the clay and cobble of the east, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit stricklandwelldrilling.com.
Live, local, KMJ. This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
That's a little grim, a little on the nose. Maybe the first rule of Bullard High is you don't talk about violence on the campus at Bullard High. It's Friday. Why not inject a little Tyler Durden? 490-5858 is the number here, 800-776-5858. I want to offer a quick thank you to a member of the community, a concerned member of the community, checking in with a generous offer for the young lady who was battered at Bullard High School. Brandon from Halo Jiu-Jitsu called in. And Brandon, I'm sorry that I missed your call, man, but Joshua reached out. Brandon's one of the guys over at Halo, and he's offering free classes to this kid. So we're going to get Brandon's information over to mom so she can see if kiddo wants to take the classes, and we'll go from there. But Brandon, thank you. And if you're interested in learning jiu-jitsu, here's a guy who cares about kids, man. All right. We got just a minute here before we get to the top of the hour news. Jim Miller back in the saddle for that. Next hour, a couple of odd stories, including a man being arrested after having barricaded himself in an apartment attic. Still not quite as strange of a visual as George Santos barricaded in his congressional offices. And Gavin Newsom's very bad, no good press conference run. But yesterday was the funeral for Officer Gonzalo Carrasco. And there was a procession from here in Fresno to Reedley. A couple of things about this. First of all, the procession was 6 miles long. When you look at these photos, when you look at these videos, it goes to the horizon. And you see some of the sights that you expect to see in a funeral procession. You see folks, of course, stopping, getting out of the way. You see some folks up on freeway overpasses. One of the things that jumped out at me, and this surprised me. I saw this last night. I think it was Ruben Contreras who shared these photos. He's over at Nexstar, KC24, and CBS 47. You have to forgive me. Gets me a little worked up, man. What happened to this officer was wrong. It was profoundly unfair to him, to his unborn child. While the procession was going down the freeway from Fresno to Reedley, naturally, any cars that were on that side of the road would have pulled over. Well, the traffic control was fantastic, so it wasn't a problem. What was remarkable to me, and Ruben shared these photos, he got them off of the Caltrans highway traffic monitor cameras. This is stuff that, if you ever want to see them, you can go to, there's a website called SIG Alert, S-I-G Alert, and you can look at these cameras, and it'll give you a snapshot of what's happening on that particular stretch of freeway. So you can look and see what the traffic looks like, in addition to the heat map that's going to tell you if it's going quick, going slow, whatever. People on the other side of the freeway, there's no reason for them to stop. There is no law that says that you would pull off the road. for a first responder, rotators, and sirens on the opposite side of a divided highway. And these people weren't pulling off to clear the road for the procession. They were pulling over and they were getting out of their vehicles to stand with their hands on their hearts to pay their respects. Getting out of their cars in the median and watching this 6-mile-long procession. What happened to this officer was wrong. It was sickening. The community's support for his family is a beautiful thing. And if you're one of the people who pulled over yesterday, thank you. That was the right thing to do.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
Contact the text group for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call the tax group right now at 800-743-9157. The tax group will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-743-9157 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-743-9157. 800-743-9157. 800-743-9157.
Are the continuous rising energy bills crushing you? Want to pay less for your home's electricity and lock in that lower rate into the future? Your family deserves the best. And when it comes to powering your home, there's no better provider than Simply Solar. With Simply Solar, going solar has never been easier. From our expert consultants to our in-house installers and the best financing. No payments for 18 months. Take advantage of the solar tax credit before it's gone. Going with Simply Solar means more money in your pocket for the things that matter, plus clean and renewable power to light up your home and family. Call now for a free consultation. For our Central Valley listeners, mention this radio ad for $1,000 off your solar system. Net metering ends in California on April 13th. Call Simply Solar at 559-892-1043 now. That's 559-892-1043. Simply Solar, keeping solar simple. 559-892-1043.
I lost 41 pounds on it so far, but I want to lose a little bit more. I went from 241 down to 200. I want to get down to 180.
With the help of Andro 400, Robert lost 41 pounds. Guys, are you having trouble losing stubborn belly fat? If so, try Ultramax T, a unique blend of natural ingredients that targets and eliminates belly fat. Ultramax T also suppresses your appetite, so when you eat, you don't eat as much, and yet you won't feel deprived. Ultramax T curbs sugar cravings, which lowers your impulse to snack in between meals, which adds unnecessary fat to your waistline. Additionally, Ultramax T boosts and maintains energy levels throughout the day without the typical spike and crash you get from caffeine and sugar. So, to effectively lose belly fat, slim down that waistline, boost energy levels, and to look and feel your best, go to andro400.com. Free shipping plus a 90-day guarantee. andro400.com. That's andro400.com. andro400.com.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Thousands of people inside the Selin Arena in downtown Fresno Thursday attending the funeral of Selma police officer Gonzalo Carrasco Jr. He was shot and killed on the line of duty last month. Carrasco was a young, expectant father. At the funeral, Selma Police Chief Rudy Alcarez says his death came too soon, but he was doing what he loved. Alcarez says he also made a positive impact during his first 2 years as a sworn officer and treated his workplace like his second home. A man is arrested after barricading inside an apartment attic for hours in North Fresno.
It began around 3:30 on Thursday afternoon by First and Gettysburg. Fresno police officers were looking for a wanted parolee with deadly weapon and domestic violence charges. They say when they tried to arrest him, he ran into an apartment, telling police he would shoot if they tried to come in. It took SWAT team negotiators 12 hours to de-escalate the situation. The man was then booked into the Fresno County Jail on the previous charges, plus any additional charges. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Sequoia National Forest officials say they're starting their prescribed burning process this weekend. Forest officials say the burning sessions aim to reduce wildfire risk that threatens giant sequoia trees. Officials say they'll start tomorrow and continue through Tuesday of next week. Following the derailment of nearly 50 train cars in East Palestine, Ohio, locals looking to officials to gain support for cleanup efforts as concerns about dangerous chemicals in the air and water supply mount. Fox's Garrett Tenney has more from East Palestine.
What we're hearing from a number of folks is that this visit by the EPA administrator nearly 2 weeks after this derailment is just another indication of how the administration is too little too late to this crisis. And there is still, as you mentioned, a lot of distrust of what officials are saying about how safe this town is to be in. And that is a challenge that the EPA administrator acknowledged during his trip here. As to why he waited nearly 2 weeks to come out here, Regan said it was because he didn't want to pull resources from the response effort, though we should point out senior administration officials, including the president, routinely visit disaster areas a lot sooner than this.
A Fresno man riding his bike across the country to raise money for his grandson's battle with leukemia, a cancer in the blood cells. Alan Jacobson says he'll start his trip next Saturday and plans to finish March the 18th. He says he's raising money for the Valley Children's Hospital's Cancer and Blood Disorders Center. Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Normal afternoon highs with temps in the low 60s today, then above normal with weekend temps in the mid 60s. Chilly overnight with lows in the 30s. Rain and snow headed our way next week, about 1/10 of an inch on the valley floor starting Tuesday night, with rain expected off and on through next Friday, up to 1/4 inch expected in the foothills, and snow in the mountains down to 3,000 feet. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
And a first look at Friday afternoon traffic, northbound 41 in Fresno. That's at the Ashman off-ramp. There's a collision. No injuries involved there. The 5400 block of West Belmont, that's just west of Cornelia. There's been a collision. No injuries reported there. In Tulare County, Ira Avenue and Road 127, a traffic hazard of some sort. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McGarry.
Commercial Radiator, your full-service repair shop for large industrial radiators, ag equipment, or to keep your fleet on the road. That's Commercial Radiator.
I'm going to try to do everything by myself today, which should be fine.
Philip Teresi right now.
As long as everybody does what they are supposed to do.
Philip Teresi.
No.
Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
5 after 3 on a Friday afternoon. This is News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. We are Fresno Unified's least favorite news talk outlet. I'm okay with that. 490-5858 is the number here, 800-776-5858. If you want to join me on the toll-free side, you'll find the show all over social media and streaming video at Drive KMJ. And Joseph's checking in on the Fresno Unified story. Joseph, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Philip. Hey, the reason why that they won't talk to you is because you've been on their back and you've been calling them into responsibility. That's number one. Number two, this is the problem that you're talking about is a historic problem, and Fresno Unified is forgotten. And this is over 20 to 30 years. My daughter's graduated from Fresno Unified schools.
Yeah.
But this problem that you're talking about is over 30 years old. And they have refused to address this problem for over 30 years, and the trustees are the responsible parties that are elected by the public. And that concerns me a great deal. And especially, I think, this last week, didn't you talk about violence at Tioga Middle School, which is a feeder school for Bullard?
Well, yeah.
I've talked to kids who went to junior high schools like Tehipity and other junior high schools that are south of Shaw. They told me that it is not safe on those campuses. You have to belong to particular groups in order to be safe on those campuses. And go ahead.
Yeah, Joseph, I'm I'm reflecting on my own kids' circuit through middle school and remembering what middle school was like in the Bay Area in the 90s. And let me ask you this, because fighting on campus always existed. You and I, even if you yourself did not get into a fight, you and I both saw fist fights on campus, guys punching each other in the nose. But that's what it was. Is it was a couple of guys squaring up, punching each other in the nose, and somebody got knocked down and somebody won, and that was that. Now you've got something that's it never would have occurred to me to kick somebody in the head. That's trying to kill somebody. That's not settling an argument.
Right.
Has the severity of the violence itself made this situation more dire, or is there actually more violent incidents?
I think that with the advent of social media and videotaping of everything, and the moment in getting your moment in fame for one moment in fame, I think there's a tremendous amount of change in our society from when you and I were going to middle school or high school.
Yeah,
there were fights. You know, I tell you what, if there were fights on my campus and the coaches found out about it, they took the guys to the wrestling room, put gloves on them, and said, "Okay, guys, take care of it."
Yeah,
that's what we did.
We never got handed boxing gloves, but there was definitely a sense of if you need to go have a moment, settle it, and then get on with your day.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I actually think putting boxing gloves on some of these kids, here are the rules, here's how it goes, we're going to do 3-minute rounds, and then you guys are done, and you're going to go back to class and you're going to act right. I think that would have solved a lot of arguments right there, because I think you would have had two kids taking a moment and going, "Oh, you know, I wasn't actually that mad."
Yeah, I understand.
But Joseph, go ahead.
Terry Sladek is right in everything he has said over the last 4 years, and he's been vilified by the media and people who do not understand the importance of establishing rules and fences wherein kids can behave. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's time to recall the whole Fresno Unified School Board.
Yeah, this school board is they're complicit, even for those who aren't actively a part of this specific story today. There is a complacency, there is a surrender, and that's for the best of the board. They've surrendered to this. But I also think that there's people on the board who simply are concerned with hanging on to the job and hanging on to the status. Because look, school board should be a boring job. It should be a nearly volunteer kind of position. It's something that a person who cares deeply about education and who cares deeply about outcomes for kids and society should be able to do as a part of their spare time, because we should have a superintendent who takes the lead, who handles the day-to-day operations. And I don't know what Bob Nelson's doing today, because Bob Nelson doesn't return my emails. He doesn't return my phone calls. He has his chief communications officer send snotty emails about how the audience of KMJ isn't relevant to Fresno Unified's messaging to the community that it was established to serve and the community from which it takes tax dollars in order to function. I mean, really think about it. This starts with a kid getting hurt on campus and a principal not responding well according to the family, and a school administration not providing support according to the family. That's where this starts, and that we cannot lose sight of that. But Fresno Unified has caused this to metastasize into something much broader, and it's an insult to everybody who doesn't have the ability to call these people to account, because any one of us individually, and this is one of those things. This is something that I'll tell you right now. When you get a group of electeds or a group of appointeds together, and they're under the fire, and they're being taken to task by the people that they're supposed to be serving. The attitude is just let it roll off your back. They're gonna wear themselves out. They're not coming back to the meeting next week. This too shall pass. This will blow over. Because the news cycle does change. And you and I, as in society, we have a bad habit of letting things go. We have a bad habit of moving on because we are busy. We've got kids to raise. We've got bills to pay. We've got homes to care for. I don't know about you, but I've got enough on my plate. I cannot go fight every fight to a win or to a draw when there are, for me and for you, everyday things that need to be dealt with that require as much or more energy than holding electeds to account. And that's what they depend on. They depend on a population that is only going to remember the last two things that they said, that's only going to review the record as far back as it is spoon-fed to them. The Fresno Unified School Board they're banking on you and me, just forgetting about it. That you and I just won't care. And that when the election rolls back around, these people will be voted back into office by a subset of the population so small as to be almost laughable. People on the school board, they're not elected by hundreds of thousands. They're not elected by tens of thousands. They're elected by thousands. And their victories, very frequently, are 2-digit or 3-digit margins. None of these people are in there with a mandate from the community. None of these people are in there with the assurance that society will rise up behind them to back their play. And that's, to be really plain spoken about it, that's why they're on the school board. Because if they were skilled enough to play politics well, they would have gone for a bigger seat. They would have gone for a more important position. And you get ambitious people like Miguel Arias that start at a school board and then move up to something else. And then you've got people like Viva Islas that will just stay at the school board forever. You've got people like Susan Wittrup who are incredibly well-funded and who have friends that are incredibly well-connected, who talk a really, really good game and get in on a mandate of 3 figures, 4 figures, and then completely forget about what it was they said they were going to go and do. And the assumption, the belief, is that you and I we're just going to forget. We're busy. We got Donald Trump running for president. We got Nikki Haley making her announcement. We got a situation with Gavin Newsom that is just, guys, when I get this audio for you, you're just going to hang your head. Speaking of people who were dependent upon the incredibly short memories of the voters of the state of California, Governor Hairgel at it again. More of your calls on the way at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. I'll take your phone calls about this stuff as long as you want to talk about it. What happened at Bullard was wrong. The response of the Fresno Unified School District was, by itself, worse. Joseph, I appreciate your phone call. David, welcome to KMJ.
Good afternoon, Philip. How are you?
I'm holy smokes, am I glad it's Friday. What's going on, man?
Well, my opinion is an agency or the school board that is claiming to be transparent needs to be forthcoming as to what actions they are taking. They do not need to identify the participants per se, but at least let the public know what is being done. It will not be tolerated. This is what the consequences are. Otherwise, them being quiet is just giving it, it's an okay behavior. There are no consequences. Do what you will. The people on this board need to tell us what's going on. Not only as the public, but those that are parents that have kids in the school district.
Well, David, you're exactly right. And that's why I read that op-ed from Susan Wittrup that goes back to the Bullard weight room Klan hood incident that was a compression sock and 3 Hispanic kids. There is a teachable moment here that they cannot, by law, disclose the consequences for any individual student. They can't do it. And I know that. And that's reasonable because this kid, given guardrails and opportunity, is going to learn from the mistake that she made and is going to do better going forward. And that kid needs to have that opportunity because what she did was violent and it was wrong and it was criminal. That doesn't mean that she, for the rest of her life, should carry around the brand of being a violent lunatic. I don't think that's what happened here at all. So she's got to have the opportunity and the privacy to learn and to grow. She's a kid. The Fresno Unified School District should be on every media outlet in the land saying that what happened was wrong, that videotaping it and sharing it on social media is wrong, and that the consequences for battery and the consequences for taking photos and video of a minor child on a school campus without the permission of the parents, also a crime. And that the consequences for these actions range from suspension to expulsion. And that in the case of the battery, charges will be filed or charges can be filed. That's it. That's all that needs to happen. Nikki Henry doesn't think that you guys are worth answering those questions. She doesn't believe that it's a good use of her time, the superintendent's time, the trustee's time, or the principal's time to simply say those words out loud in a way that reassures the community that the schools takes it seriously and to reassure the child who was harmed that the school is concerned about her needs as well. Because again, Nikki Henry will tell you, oh, we're putting all the appropriate supports into place. They're not. They can't. Mom won't send her back to school. They're lying to you. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. More of your calls on the way at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858.
Yeah, taking a look at afternoon traffic, northbound 41. This is in Fresno at Ashland off-ramp. There's been a collision, no injuries involved there. On the west side of the city, 5400 block of West Belmont, that's just west of Cornelia. There's been a collision, no injuries reported there. In Tulare County at Ira Avenue at Road 127, there's a traffic hazard of some sort. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Clark Pest Control. For over 60 years, Clark Pest Control has been California's leader in pest control technology. If you need help getting rid of pests, termites, rodents, mosquitoes, and much more, contact Clark Pest Control for a free estimate today. Call 1-800-WE-NEED-YOU. That's 1-800-WE-NEED-YOU. Or visit clarkpest.com.
On this product, I've lost 45 pounds in 45 days. A pound a day. I started feeling the product on the second day I took it. I owe you guys my life is how I feel about it.
That's great, Jack. Losing 45 pounds in 45 days.
About 2.5 weeks into it, noticed a huge difference. I feel like I'm 20 again. I weighed about 325 when I started taking it, and I've already dropped 20 pounds. I feel great again.
Congratulations, TJ, on losing 20 pounds in 20 days. Guys, would you like to experience similar results? Then try Ultramax T, which effectively targets and eliminates belly fat, increases testosterone, and boosts energy. And if you're overeating, Ultramax T can help stop unhealthy cravings, making it even easier for you to lose belly fat. Go to andro400.com and order Ultramax T today and get free shipping. andro400.com. That's andro400.com.
Life can be extremely stressful and overwhelming.
Most, if not all of us, can relate. If you or anyone you know is in crisis or suicidal, call the Central Valley Suicide Prevention Hotline. It's free and confidential. Call 1-800-273-8255. There is always help, and we are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Reach out at 1-800-273-8255.
Lately, I have been hearing some weird things from my friends, even some of you. I'll ask, what are you doing this weekend? And the response is, hey, I'm going to Lose and Look. Look at Lose and Look. And then, of course, it hits me, you're going to lose to look at Lou Rodman's patio, bar stool, and Amish Emporium. And for those of you who can't get there right away, go to my Facebook page, because you'll see pictures of what you'll be looking at if you go to Lose and Look. On my Facebook right now, the great handmade Amish desk sets. These are so extravagant. Order them in any stain, any wood you want. Also on my Facebook page, those very hard to get outdoor bar stools. While you're there, take a look at that beautiful handmade Amish rocker. Anything Amish can be ordered in the type of wood that you want, the color of stain. It can be personally made for you. That includes all of those dining sets. Look at my Facebook page right now. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. The inventory changes all the time. It's a brand new location across from Lowe's, right next to Fashion Furniture. I'll see you in Lose and Look.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When you're cultivating commercial grapes and nuts, every season is just as important as the next. That's why at Wonderful Nurseries, it's always growers first. John York, KMJ Ag Director, letting you know that as the largest grapevine nursery in North America, Wonderful Nurseries serves its value growers through thick and thin. You can always expect the largest selection and best availability of grapevines, almond, and pistachio trees in the industry, product that's not just sold but nurtured from the very beginning. Wonderful Nurseries performs 100% annual testing in its own one-of-a-kind ISO certified testing lab, assuring some of the healthiest vines and trees on the market. Visit wonderfulnurseries.com or call your sales rep today at 661-758-4777. That's 661-758-4777 for a personal tour of Wonderful Nurseries' Central California facilities and farms. Act now to reserve your selection of vines and trees for 2023 and beyond.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me, did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
325 News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ online. You can listen at KMJnow.com. We'll get to the very bad, no good, horrible Gavin Newsom press conference, in his opinion, in a couple of minutes. Right now, though, calls are coming in at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. Folks are fired up about Fresno Unified. They're worried about the safety of the kids on campus. They're worried about the district's unwillingness to communicate with the community that they serve, because according to a survey of 733 people, which translates to, I believe, 6 people per school site. Bullard, for example, with 2,500 students, meaning a potential parent population of 5,000, and they talks to 6. Not 600, not 6,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, count it with your shoes on. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Ellie, welcome to KMJ.
Well, thank you so much. I had to kind of chuckle because when we were kids, my little sister and I would fuss, and Daddy would put the boxing gloves on us and send us out to the front yard with an audience, and it was only probably seconds that we begin to giggle, and just the argument was over. And interestingly enough, your call screener said that his mother did the same with him.
Yeah.
So it's easy to settle a tussle if you know how to do it, I guess.
Well, Ellie, I think you're exactly right. And I think that you obviously benefited from parents that were willing to take a little risk to avoid a much bigger inability to control yourself later on. I mean, obviously it worked out. You're here to tell the story.
Well, it worked for me.
Ellie, I appreciate the phone call. I hope you have a great weekend.
You do the same. Thank you.
And to Ellie's point, parenting is a huge part of all of this. And it's got to be, I mean, honestly, I pretend like it's a hypothetical. I know for a fact it is one of the great frustrations of folks called to the vocation of teaching, because you've got many, many kids whose parents are involved. Sometimes they're like super awesome. Sometimes they kind of go a little too far. You get the helicopter parents, the bulldozer parents. Sometimes they're not quite as engaged. They're there. The kid's showing up. They got clean clothes and brushed hair, and they had breakfast that morning, and everything's fine. But mom and dad are busy and building careers and that kind of thing. And all of those kids, generally speaking, they're going to do all right because mom and dad are engaged, are available, will answer an email, and will step in. It's the kids whose parents aren't engaged, don't care, don't prioritize education, that create a disruption for the rest of the school. And I am a firm believer in the potential of restorative justice, not as some kind of faculty lounge buzzword to avoid imposing consequences, but instead a recognition that the consequences, should fit the misbehavior or even the crime, and that if the function of justice is in any way inclusive of rehabilitation, because again, there's the idea of justice as a potential for correction, rehabilitation, and punishment, and there's the concept of justice as punishment and revenge. And most people, when they talk about justice, want punishment and revenge. When I talk about justice, I want actual justice. Punishment, yes, but also rehabilitation and opportunity on the other side. The kid who committed this crime, who committed this battery, is still a kid. And punished and corrected and redirected and given the structure and the support and the discipline that she needs, this child can absolutely be saved. And that is restorative justice. And it's something that the trustee for the Bullard area once made a very, very impassioned plea for, but today suddenly has nothing to say because, but never forget, you guys, I'm a jerk. Kelly's next. Welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on, and I just appreciate that you guys are there every day. I travel for work, and I really rely on you guys when I'm up in the Bay Area. I can listen to you guys all the way from Burlingame to LA of what's going on in Fresno. And I really think that being transparent is important for these schools because this is what's wrong with society today. These kids turn into adults, and then we have political people in Sacramento who this isn't far from what they act like, who are adults. So I just want to say, Philip, that, it does take a lot to do what you guys do there at your station to be able to talk to the public. No, you may not have a degree, but I really think it's important that you guys are able to hold your composure and to be able to deliver the information. So thank you.
Well, Kelly, that's very kind of you to say, and I do appreciate it. And I'm a dad. I'm a Fresno Unified parent. I am a concerned member of the community. I'm a taxpayer, and I'm horrified that this is where we have arrived. That instead of a compassionate, coherent, forward-looking response from a school district. That it's incompetence, it's self-preservation, and it's mean girls. And none of those things serve the kids or the community. It's horrifying. All right, we got to take a quick break. We've got an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ newsroom. Bobby, Anna, I see you guys there. I'm going to grab their calls. If you want to get in on this, hop on the phone, 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. This is KMJ.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. At the state capitol today, Senate Minority Leader Brian Jones of San Diego and Bakersfield State Senator Shannon Grove introducing Senate Bill 774, a.k.a. the Save Our Hospitals bill. Legislation is meant to prevent nonprofit community hospitals in California from closing their doors in January after years of being underfunded by Medi-Cal reimbursement rates and the pandemic pushing it into financial ruin. Madera Community Hospital shut down. Homicide detectives on the scene of a likely murder-suicide in Merced. Officers called to the area near White Fir Court in Wooddale Avenue last night, where the body of a woman was found. The victim's husband was struck and killed by a train. They've not been ID'd. Deadly crash under investigation in South Fresno. Cops say a woman was hit and killed by a car at about 6 on Belmont near Palm. The driver stayed at the scene and cooperating with police. The victim has not been identified. A suspect's in custody after a deadly shooting spree in northern Mississippi. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has more.
The Mississippi Department of Public Safety confirms at least 6 people have been fatally shot in Tate County, about 30 miles south of Memphis. An unnamed suspect is in custody and a motive is unclear. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves' office says he has been briefed on the shooting. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is helping with the investigation. The gunman reportedly opening fire at multiple locations, including a store and a residence. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Normal afternoon highs with temps in the low 60s today, then above normal with weekend temps in the mid 60s. Chilly overnight with lows in the 30s. Rain and snow headed our way next week, about 1/10 of an inch on the valley floor starting Tuesday night, with rain expected off and on through next Friday, up to 1/4 inch expected in the foothills, and snow in the mountains down to 3,000 feet. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And in Fresno, in traffic southbound 99 from north of Dakota to Belmont, there is lots of congestion earlier than usual and more than usual. Freeway 41 north of the 180 interchange in central Fresno is more congested than usual. Probably some people getting off early to start the 3-day weekend. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends $225. See staples.com/stores/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
Donate your old vehicle to carsforkids.org, the best car vehicle donation program. Your generosity changes the lives of kids right here in our community with a second chance at a better future. Before you sell or give away that old vehicle in any condition, please donate it to carsforkids.org. Carsforkids.org picks up cars, trucks, motorcycles for free. Plus, you'll get a $50 Visa gift card. It's so easy to donate to carsforkids.org. Please, write off the car, not the kid.
I have to say this. I am personally astounded how the glass shop in Visalia continues to do everything right. They're making some amazing business decisions, and that's great for you. Okay, so what now? No tax whatsoever on any windows up until April 15th. That'll save you plenty right there, especially if you got a big job. No taxes. They'll front that bill with Uncle Sam. You don't worry about it. Next, Scott has become kind of a living legend in this business of windows and doors and all of this stuff. He needs a title, like, shall we call him the Wizard of Windows? When he comes to your home, he'll tell you before you even know what you need, and this is blowing people's minds. He'll tell you what type of window. He'll tell you what brand. Now, you ultimately make the decision, but this guy knows. And the glass shop has windows that have a double lifetime warranty. You sell your home, and whoever buys the home gets that warranty as well. And they'll get it done like in 3 to 4 weeks, where most companies take 2 to 3 months. Click theglassshop.com. It's that simple. The Glass Shop in Visalia. Click theglassshop.com. There you go. Tax-free, don't forget.
Cultivated Technology Group takes a real agriculture-first approach to technology, building true solutions through custom software and websites. With over 40 years of experience in production agriculture and gourmet food production, they have unmatched expertise in software development, specifically for ag businesses. If you're looking to resolve inefficiencies, upgrade outdated systems, or if you're curious about what software can do to reduce your expenses and enhance your business, check out Cultivated at cultivatedtg.com.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Teresi. Streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
3:40 on a Friday afternoon. I'm Philip Teresi. You're listening to News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm glad you're along for the ride this afternoon. The phones are wide open for you at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. Talking about, again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Our jumping off point for all of this conversation is a girl, a high school girl, a cheerleader, getting battered, attacked, kicked in the head on the campus of Bullard High School. The child who attacked her is a student athlete, a female wrestler. Both of these kids are now in a process and in a system that is going to come with different consequences, but for both of them, they're consequences that are going to impact at least the next few years of their life. In the case of the cheerleader, the victim of the battery, there's going to be a process of healing from the physical injury, and there is physical injury. Mom shared with me some of the photographs that she took of the injuries this child sustained, and there is simply no argument about what happened to this kid. There's also a video circulating on social media that shows the fight. Then there's the aggressor, and whatever it was that motivated her to lash out the way that she did, that has to be addressed. The fact that she acted violently against another child, a child who was not attempting to fight back, was simply trying to protect her head and her face. That's something that kid needs help with. That's not normal behavior. It's not reasonable behavior. Now, the range of possible consequences for battering another student is going to range from suspension to expulsion to arrest and criminal prosecution. We will not ever know specifically what happened to this child, because this child, being a child, has a right to privacy and has a right to learn from this terrible choice that she made. And through some structure, some discipline, and some penitence, she gets to go on and live her life and learn from her mistake and be a better person. And that absolutely has to happen. She is a kid. The victim has to make up her mind if she wants to go back into an environment where she may be ridiculed or harassed because of this video on social media, but also because of the social attachments that are broken by the aggressor having been removed from the school temporarily or permanently. Because you and I are never going to learn these kids' names. In a school with a population of 2,500, the likelihood that these children will remain anonymous in their respective social circles is slim to none. I mean, back in 1995, when social media didn't exist and the internet was something that AOL mailed to you a month at a time, kids knew when I got into trouble. And I never got into trouble like this. I got busted for having cigarettes, stuff like that. So we're never going to get the satisfaction of really knowing what happened. But that's only fair to the kids in terms of consequences. We have a school district that won't talk about the potential consequences, that won't talk about how they're going to deal with this, that won't discuss what exactly they're going to do on campus to make it clear that this sort of behavior simply will not be tolerated. There is a teachable moment here, as Susan Whittrop observed a little under a year ago, when there was a completely unrelated incident involving 3 Hispanic kids in a compression sock putting a photo on social media that became known as the Klan Hood incident. But today, Susan Whittrop won't talk about it. She won't talk to you. She won't talk to me. I'm a Fresno Unified parent. I'm a stakeholder in that district. I live a block away from Bullard High School. My trustee won't speak to me because my audience isn't big enough. At least that's what the chief communications officer for the district says. I'm not balanced. I'm not nice. And there aren't enough of you to matter. And that's a separate issue. And it's also a real issue because it means that the Fresno Unified School District, with the full knowledge and consent of a member of the Board of Trustees, the superintendent of the district, they have observed and they have allowed the chief communications officer to write off all of you, despite all of those people knowing damn well that the function of the schools is to serve the entire community, which we do speak to. And that the schools are funded by those same stakeholders to the tune of $2 billion a year of your money. So they'll take your money. They won't talk to you. That is a problem. That is not acceptable. 490-5858. Bobby, thank you for holding. Welcome to KMJ.
Hi, good evening. I want to say, first of all, thank you for pushing this issue. But I'm going to make a statement here, sir. And I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. You can push the button. There's nothing.
Well, just don't say the F word, man.
Oh, I won't. But I'm going to tell you something today. You said that the Fresno, the valley here might not be a big enough audience. Well, you know, on national news, if what these administrators and what these people are doing today and have done is set this school up for a very bad shooting. Let me say something to you right quick this evening to the audience. I didn't want to say that, but I because some people some people wants to hear that. But let me. The thing that's bothered me the most is we don't want 5, 10, 15, 20 kids shot. The point I'm trying to make is children, sooner or later, will take the law into their own hands, not because something hasn't been done. We don't know about it. Children will settle up one way or the other. This administration, all of these brains that went to school for 5 and 10 years to get these PhDs and DDs and whatever, they need to be listening at you because you're trying to save this city and valley from being on national news. You put the fire out, man. You don't just sit there and let it smolder. There's kids mad over there right now. Ain't no telling what they're going to do.
Bobby,
I'm sorry to call in and say that, but I'm sorry to call in and say that, man, but kids are cruel. They'll settle this thing one way or the other. We don't want to be on national news like you've seen these schools, man.
Yeah, Bobby, I understand. I understand the spirit of your point. And it hurts my heart that it could possibly be a reasonable point. But I let you make it because as much as it sincerely pains me, somewhere you're not wrong. I don't believe for a moment that that's the case at this school and with these students. The child who is the victim of the battery, that is simply not the way that she's being raised. It's simply not the way her family's looking at this. And her social circle, in that colloquial wisdom of birds of a feather flock together, her social circle is not going to be a group of kids that are going to go down that road. Kids hate injustice as much as anybody. Look at how many walkout protests we've had about the exact thing Bobby has talked about, where the kids at Bullard High and kids all over the Fresno Unified and Clovis Unified and Central Unified have gotten up and walked out of class to protest injustice. Sometimes it's racial injustice. Sometimes it is a perception that they are not being protected from gun violence. There's a variety of things that these kids will get up and protest and talk about. Kids hate injustice. The kids hate bullies. It's an instinctive thing for normal people to hate and loathe other people who will seek to harm others to gain advantage. I don't see the consequence of what happened today being what you've described. Not at all. The Fresno Unified School District is sending a message to children that they can disrupt class, that they can disrespect teachers, that they can behave violently and belligerently, and that the process of learning is less important than managing the appearances in the outside world. And the kids are going to eventually tire of that and be made angry by that. Unfortunately, I don't think that we're going to see a walkout protest over what happened this week at Bullard High School. But kids hate injustice. And I think that your point to that extent, it serves as a reminder. These things can get out of hand when you don't impose control, when you don't impose the appearance of having control or of even caring. The situation can accelerate. I do not believe that it's going to go as far as you've suggested. But the Fresno Unified School District, right now, they just don't want to talk about a fight on their campus. They don't want to talk about a battery on their campus. And they don't want to talk about the failures that they experienced in reaching out to and caring for the victim. And that's wrong. They need to take ownership of their mistakes. And they need to take ownership of their dismissiveness of this audience. Again, one of these days, I'm gonna get blown out. I'm gonna be sent back to play Garth Brooks or Metallica or whatever it is they do with guys like me, or probably more likely flipping burgers somewhere. And somebody else is gonna show up and do it. Fresno Unified is gonna keep making these excuses. More of your calls on the way at 490-5858. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ.
And taking a look at Friday afternoon traffic in Tulare County, Avenue 416 and Claude Road. A man has been walking into the roadway and then back out again, and you might want to really be watchful there. West Belmont and North Marks in the western part of Fresno. There's been a collision with no injuries, and the Fresno-Clovis Metro freeways are beginning to clog up in their usual places a little bit earlier because of the beginning of the three-day weekend, I assume. With KMJ Traffic and for Greg Lane, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt for your guaranteed biggest refund and 50% off tax prep. Switch to Jackson Hewitt. 50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Get started for just $49.99 a month. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now boarding.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 50 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Dum. It's time for the unfiltered truth. I'm making like Perry Mason, but I'm really Ray Appleton. Yeah, and you younger types are going, what's a Perry Mason? And you're also like a deer in the headlight when I talk about a salt-based water softener. Oh, that's okay. Let me explain about Life Source water systems. You want to taste and feel the difference? Hey, you're all about health, right? You want the most pure water you can just throw into your body? And how about your hair? Your hair is going to shine and glisten like, oh, wow. And now you get it with a Life Source water system. Unbelievably fantastic water coming out of every tap and every faucet in your home. It's filtered, it's delicious, and it requires zero maintenance. No filters to change, no monthly servicing, forget about it. And no salt. Call 559-330-1850 to talk to a factory rep, or click lifesourcewater.com. 330-1850. You want to taste and feel the difference? Then do what I just told you to do. All right, thank you very much.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Are the continuous rising energy bills crushing you? Want to pay less for your home's electricity and lock in that lower rate into the future? Your family deserves the best. And when it comes to powering your home, there's no better provider than Simply Solar. With Simply Solar, going solar has never been easier. From our expert consultants to our in-house installers and the best financing. No payments for 18 months. Take advantage of the solar tax credit before it's gone. Going with Simply Solar means more money in your pocket for the things that matter. Plus clean and renewable power to light up your home and family. Call now for a free consultation. For our Central Valley listeners, mention this radio ad for $1,000 off your solar system. Net metering ends in California on April 13th. Call Simply Solar at 559-892-1043 now. That's 559-892-1043. Simply Solar, keeping solar simple. 559-892-1043.
KMJ, Fresno.
KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
Rolling up at 4 o'clock on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad you guys are hanging out this afternoon. More calls coming in about this situation with Fresno Unified. It's, I think there's actually two stories here. And one of those stories is the failure on the part of, as mom tells it, Bullard High School to appropriately care for her child. Now, nobody's pretending that fights don't happen at school. Fights happen at school. The level of violence in this fight is unusually severe and uniquely problematic. But nobody's pretending that fights don't happen. And if you acknowledge fights happen, you have to acknowledge fights happen for very stupid reasons sometimes, as seems to be the case with this incident. The principal of Bullard High, according to mom, told her to take down her social media post asking for help because it made the school look bad. I wish I could tell you differently, but Armin Tarigian's not answering my messages because the Fresno Unified Chief Communications Officer says that it's not worth his time to answer my questions. And that leads to the other piece of this, because we've got this kid, and she's going to heal. She's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. On the other side of this is a school district that is funded by taxpayer dollars, refusing to speak to the community under the excuse that their survey of 773 people, meaning a sample size that works out to about 6 people per campus. And remember, Bullard has 2,500 kids, which means one would assume approximately 5,000 parents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not 60, not 600, certainly not 6,000. 6 people per campus. And based off of that, you aren't worth talking to because you don't exist. There are no Fresno Unified parents in the audience. Nobody's listening to KMJ because Fresno Unified doesn't have time for the community that it serves. Fresno Unified only has time for the people that serve Fresno Unified. Now, I see more calls coming in, and I'm going to gladly take them. Jay, Gabe, Anna, Ray, I see you guys there, and we're going to get to all their calls. I'll take yours as well. If you want to get in right now, your best bet's to jump in toll-free at 800-776-5858, and we will take more calls when we get back from an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ newsroom. Hang on.
Part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Ray Appleton, saunter into Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. Brand new, right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's. The inventory grows and grows and grows. Let's remember, this began 18 years ago, all about bar stools. Central California needed bar stools. Now it's grown to where you can walk in and you can grab 2 or 22. They're in stock, they're ready to go. Throw them in the truck and you're out of there. One thing that Lou didn't have practically all last year was outdoor bar stools. He's got them. The supply chain fiasco is over with that little bit of inventory. Get him while he's got him. And the Amish inventory, it's expanded from beyond just Noah Bontrager, who's still doing outstanding things for Lou Rodman, to about 4 or 5 different lines. Amish bedroom sets on fire. Wait until you see these. Something that really caught my eye is the line of Barnwood leather living room furniture. Oh man, bars, gaming tables, dining sets from everywhere. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium, right next to Fashion Furniture.
Well, the big deal at the 63rd Annual Fashion Furniture President's Day clearance is savings. 100 recliners in every style and cover imaginable, and power lift recliners, hey, those are hot as a pistol, leather sectionals, Amish furniture, and a colossal selection of closeouts up to half off. We're now including a very special top grain dual leather power lift recliner with a console that was $29.98, now just $12.97, even more than half off. But that's how we do President's Day at Fashion Furniture. All kinds of discounts. Look at this. Home office furniture, dining and bedroom, handcrafted Amish furniture, accessories, one-of-a-kind items. And don't forget 48 mattresses on display at Sleep Retreat, Fresno's only all-premium mattress store, with Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest, Serta, Stearns & Foster, and more. The 63rd Annual President's Day clearance. Fashion Furniture on El Paso across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
News Talk, 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller here in the KMJ News Center. A female student is attacked on campus at Bullard High School, allegedly by another student. Fox 26's Mayra Franco has more.
The video shows the attacker kicking while she's curled up into a ball trying to protect herself. Dominica Powell says there was no reason for that fight.
It was kind of like a big circle of people trying to have this thing happen
for no real reason. The girl went up and was like, I don't know you. And she's like, no, really, I really don't know you. And the girl kind of said some crazy things, took off her backpack, and just started swinging.
No one tried to stop it either. Instead, you can hear students in the video cheering on the attacker.
Get her,
The Fresno Unified School District released a statement to Fox 26 News saying, in part, the school responded quickly and handled the incident in accordance with our policies, the law, and the education code. But Powell says she reached out to the school psychologist the next day. She says she didn't know anything about it. Now Powell says she is pushing school officials to take disciplinary actions to the next level.
Fresno County Sheriff's Office asking for the public's help in finding a 13-year-old boy. Brody Musgrave left his house Thursday along Sierra Avenue between West and Fruit. He was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt, blue jean, and boots. Anyone with information on Musgrave, you're asked to contact the Sheriff's Office immediately. Longtime magazine print plant in Merced closing its doors. Global marketing company Quad Graphics Incorporated will permanently shut down its Cooper Avenue plant. More than 200 employees expected to lose their jobs. It once produced national magazines like TV Guide, People Magazine, Time, and Sports Illustrated. The plant is scheduled to close April 28th. The country's leading bookstore chain takes a page from Amazon. Fox's Hillary Barsky explains.
Barnes & Noble is joining the membership program Frey and is launching a $40 a year plan that offers 10% discounts, free shipping, free drink upgrades in its cafes, along with other perks. The bookseller is following Amazon and Walmart's membership programs, which offer no minimum free shipping, among other benefits. In addition, Barnes & Noble is launching a free lower-tier membership program that will let members earn a virtual stamp for every $10 spent online and in stores, which could be used for a $5 credit for future purchases once 10 stamps have been accumulated. Barnes & Noble says its new membership programs are intended to better tailor the bookseller's offerings to individual shoppers. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
The Fresno Fire Chief Foundation giving away helmets to children and teens. Foundation plans to supply about 700 helmets to Fresno skateboard salvage this year. Helmets going to be given away to kids seen skating or biking without one. The program, launched by FFCF in 2005, aims to promote safety and encourage active, healthy lifestyles. Since its launch, around 10,000 helmets have been distributed to children in the Fresno area. Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Normal afternoon highs with temps in the low 60s today, then above normal with weekend temps in the mid 60s. Chilly overnight with lows in the 30s. Rain and snow headed our way next week, about 1/10 of an inch on the valley floor starting Tuesday night, with rain expected off and on through next Friday, up to 1/4 inch expected in the foothills, and snow in the mountains down to 3,000 feet. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at our Friday afternoon traffic, West Belmont and North Marks, that's in the western part of Fresno. There has been a collision with no injuries, and that's all I have to report from the Fresno area, and nothing from Tulare County at this time. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Mr. World here, working the red carpet at the big awards show. You know, the paparazzi keeps asking me, what are you wearing? Well, I'm wearing the hottest styles from Eyeglass World, of course. Eyeglass World has all the nominees for Best Stylish Frames. Even better, they're the winner for Best Supporting Prices.
Get hundreds of designer frames for hundreds less at Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses. Visit eyeglassworld.com to schedule your eye exam online.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day.
Philip Teresi.
On News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
4:05 on your afternoon drive, and you guys are steering the conversation this afternoon. On the phones at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. We're talking about this story that starts at Bullard High with a battery on a cheerleader by a wrestler, female wrestler, but still a wrestler. The response from the school to the family of the child who was the victim of this battery, it started out shaky, And it has accelerated to something worse than that. The school district in their comments say that they're offering all the appropriate support and blah, blah, blah. Except that's not possible because the student hasn't been back to campus since mom called to try and talk to the school psychologist, and the school psychologist had no earthly clue that anything had happened. When the mom posted on social media asking for guidance and advice about what to do, the response was not for the school to reach out and, oh my God, these are the resources that we're preparing for you. It was the according to mom, it was the principal, Armin Tarigian, asking her to take the post down because it made the school look bad. Now, I'd like to think that the principal of Bullard High School had more to say than that, had more empathy than that, but I don't know. Because the other part of this story is the Fresno Unified School District will not make Armin Tarigian, Trustee Susan Wittrup, Superintendent Bob Nelson available to talk to you guys. Because again, I'm here to push buttons and flip toggles and try desperately to do something resembling keep this thing on schedule. But the reality is I'm completely interchangeable. KMJ is the KMJ audience. And when Nikki Henry, the chief communications officer, says that you aren't worth the time of the Fresno Unified School District, I take it personally. Not as the guy who works here, as a Fresno Unified parent, as a taxpayer, as a stakeholder, as a member of the community, as somebody who lives a block away from the school. I find the answer not just unsatisfying, but disrespectful. I find it problematic. I see it as an insult. It's an insult to everybody who doesn't have the time or the resources to go in and demand to be heard. And all the school district had to do was extend reassurances and reach out to this family to offer proper support. And instead, we got this weird little bitchy mean girls response from the chief communications officer and a blow-off from the trustee for the Bullard area, a woman who campaigned on her experience as a school psychologist, who made an impassioned plea before she got elected for transparency and clarity and communication, not just with the families, although certainly them first and most importantly, but with the community, both at the school and all of the stakeholders, which is literally the entire city of Fresno. And they're not going to do that. That's a problem, and it's a story in and of itself. Now, Anna, Jay, and Gabriel, I'm going to get to all of your calls, but I'm actually going to jump the line for just a minute here because I've got Tom on the phone. And Tom, if I'm getting this right, you're a Bullard parent. Is that true?
Correct.
Tom, tell me what you're seeing with your kid coming to and from Bullard High School.
All right. So first of all, one of my kids, they first started going to Baird. Then one of them went to Tenaya. Didn't like the principal at Tenaya. Then fortunately they got to Bullard. Then all of a sudden that guy is the principal at Bullard. So even today, there's so much I can talk about. The phone pouches, it's very easy that all the kids are just putting a fake phone in the pouches and they have their real phones in their pockets. Today there's a fight on campus. The security didn't even go and check out the situation. They just drove by. I heard from my son. It's a mess. That school's a wreck.
So, Tom, when your kids talk to you about this, because I'm assuming, like, if they see a fight or something, I mean, I
see it on video. I get to see it on their videos. I get to watch it on their phone every day. I'm like, dude, your phone should be in the pouch. Oh, yeah, that's no big deal.
Well, let me ask you this, Tom. Are they filming it, or are they sharing stuff from social? They're all filming.
They're all filming it.
What do you tell your kids when they show you that they've got that film? Do you warn them that they need to keep it off of social media? Do you tell them to delete it?
My kid knows not to put that on social media because he's done.
Have you thought about, because this has crossed my mind. I've thought about putting my kid back in a dumb phone, in a clamshell. You could make phone calls with it phone to try and steer away from the social media and the constant photo and video nonsense. Has that crossed your mind?
Not really, because you're taking away your kids. Like, the phone is their lifespan of their life. That's how they talk to everybody. That if you take away their phone, you're just shutting them down from talking to you. You're shutting them down from reality, everything. So I don't think that's the answer.
I respect your opinion on that, and I think that there is weight to what you say. And the thing that's crossed my mind, and tell me what you think about this, because I think there's a middle ground here. If your kid has an iPhone and you transfer their phone service to I don't know what any of the clamshell phones are called anymore, StarTAC, whatever. But if you put their phone service on the clamshell phone, they can still use their iPhone on your Wi-Fi at home. They can even continue to send and receive messages with the iMessage service. They just can't make a phone call on the AT&T network. So they could still have social media and Discord and all of that stuff when they're at home. But when they're at school, they just have the ability to make a phone call or tap out a, triple tap T9 text message like you and I used to do.
I totally understand that. I wish it was that easy,
Yeah.
I wish it was that easy. Just life's not that easy.
No, I understand. And like I said, I'm not trying to tell you how to parent your kid. It's just it's something that went through my mind because I got a sophomore, and that yonder pouch thing is coming, dude. Anybody who thinks that the Bullard High yonder pouch experiment wasn't a test run for district-wide rollout is fooling themselves.
Right. They've even learned how to take the threading out and unthread the thing and take the phone out from behind. That's not the answer.
Oh no, my kid has friends at Bullard, and one of the things that these kids did was buy fishing magnets on Amazon so that they could trip them and open them. If you can believe that, there is a little black market of ultra heavy duty fishing magnets that these kids are using to get their phones out of the pouches, although those things are a pain in the butt, and woe be unto the child that gets that thing too close to a laptop. Tom, I appreciate the call, my friend. I'm sorry that your boys are seeing that every day. I'm glad that you've talked to them and taught them not to share it on social media, because eventually people are going to start getting into trouble for that, if not at Fresno Unified, somewhere. And it's not a kindness to any of the children who are involved in these incidents. So I'm glad that you're engaged. I'm glad you're taking care of your boys, and I'm sorry that it's happening so much that it's become a daily conversation. 490-5850. I'm going to keep moving here. Anna, I appreciate you hanging in there. Welcome back to KMJ. Anna.
Hello.
There you are.
Hi. Yeah, I told you I was going to get in trouble.
What'd you get in trouble for, Anna?
Oh, what I said yesterday. My daughter is not happy, and apparently you have a lot more listeners than you think you do, dear. I love your compassion, and all I can say, my personal opinion, which my daughter really doesn't want me to share, is that I think there's too many ignorant parents that don't participate in their children's lives.
Anna, that's really at the heart of all of this, isn't it? That no matter how good or bad a school is, no matter how disciplined or wild a campus is, if mom and dad aren't doing their jobs, those kids are not going to succeed. They're not going to thrive, and they're not going to grow up to be contributing members of society.
Correct. And I knew I was going to get balled out, and I just did. Oh, boy, I'm in trouble.
Anna, the fact that your kid has the confidence to come to you and to talk to you means that even if you've got to have the sting of the finger wag, you're raising a good kid who's got the brains and the guts to make a case. And that means that you're getting it right.
Adult, and I have, put her in a position, she said. So I have to apologize on air. Please give my apologies because apparently, like you said, your statistics are 620 people per school period. But apparently More people listen to you than you think they do, Philip. And my daughters are like, why do you call into radio stations? I'm like, because I listen to talk radio. I don't listen to soap operas all day, every day. But, you know, I care about my community. I have had a hard life, and I feel I'm justified to express to people that, you know, it's how you raise your children. And I raised a good one, believe me, surprisingly. But, you know, I mean, I was never the perfect parent. And that's the problem. There needs to be more parent interaction with their children.
Anna, you are, one, you did a great job. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. You did a great job. Your kid is engaged, they're conscientious, and they're unafraid to talk to you and to express themselves to you. And that's tough. God, it's just having a relationship where your child will speak to you honestly about their feelings. That's a big deal, man, because once they cross that boundary into adolescence, there's like a decade where sometimes you're lucky if they'll talk to you at all. But you're there, you care, you're willing to admit your shortcomings. You are ahead of the game as a mother, and your child is ahead of the game because you're her mother. And your point that this situation at Fresno Unified also rests on the shoulder of the parents, on the parents of the child who committed the battery, on the parents who allow this school to ignore the needs in their community, and on the parents who voted for the Board of Trustees that refuses to speak to them, that has pushed them to the end of the meetings to try and outweight them so that they don't ever have to hear a bad word about the firm. Anna, thank you very much for the call. I got to run. It's good to talk. More of your calls on the way. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. A line's just opened up for you on the afternoon drive on KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic westbound 180 in Fresno. This is the Peach Avenue off-ramp. There has been a hit and run with no injuries, and that's all I have to report with this report. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Turn to the experts with Carrier.
The following takes place in the warehouse at All Britain Heating and Air.
Okay, guys, balance it on top. Careful.
Eddie?
Oh, hey, Andrea.
Hey, aren't you stacking those heaters up kind of high?
I know, but look. We're out of room in here for all these heaters.
Yeah, you're stacking them like Dr. Seuss.
We had to pre-order a lot of these last year during the COVID delays.
Right. Then all the orders came in, but at the same time.
What are we gonna do?
Well, I guess we'll give away some heaters.
Announcing the free brewery furnace giveaway at All Britain.
Free brewery?
Sure. Our slow season is the very best time to let All Britain replace your old AC unit with a powerful, modern, energy-efficient system. And your new heater is free of charge.
Free brewery!
Because I need to keep my team busy and happy, you get our lowest prices of the year.
Plus, we can install your new system right away.
Your comfort instantly goes up,
while your energy bills go down.
The free brewery furnace giveaway is on, only at All Britain. Online at ALLBRITTEN.
DeWarty Nursery is the leader in potted almond trees. The new almond variety, Yorizani the Gold Nut, is a recently released self-fertile almond by the USDA. Yorizani has been field tested statewide and is a top performer in the regional almond variety trials. Yorizani is a standout performer in both quality and production. Yorizani almond trees are available from DeWarty Nursery for your plantings now. DeWarty Nursery has all of the best root stocks, including Bright's Hybrid 5 and Krimsk 86 available. Learn about DeWarty Nursery's new and improved pistachio program. DeWarty Nursery pistachios are bigger with the new Moon Unit budded trees. Crop years ahead. Save pre-productive time and several acre-feet of water by planting Moon Units. The new Vigor Clone rootstocks establish faster, come into production faster, and plateau at higher production levels than standard pistachio rootstocks. DeWarty Nursery has several budded pistachio tree formats available, including the Moon Units for 2022 and 2023 spring planting. Talk to your DeWarty Nursery field rep today.
We've all been called to bless kids in our communities, and Cars4Kids.org is helping generous and faithful listeners like you make a difference with that unused or unwanted vehicle. Donate your car, truck, van, motorcycle, or boat in any condition, and your blessing will go directly to kids and provide mental health services, education, food, housing, and basic necessities. So please call 866-835-5437 or give now at carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org. And right off the car, not the kid.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chachansi Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chachansi Gold Resort and Casino.
This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
423 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. This is News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. A lot of calls coming in, and I'm letting you guys steer the boat today. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. A lot of calls about the battery on the Bullard campus that started all this. A lot of calls about Fresno Unified and their responsibility to our community. We can't talk about what's going to happen to this specific student. The child has a right to privacy by law, by ed code, by campus policy. And that is all appropriate and righteous as far as the general public is concerned. This kid has a right to take her discipline, to have a new structure imposed, to be rehabilitated, and to, in her penitence, come out the other side having learned, having grown, and having ultimately improved. She's a kid, and she needs to have the room to be okay, because that potential still exists. She's a child. But the Fresno Unified School District doesn't even want to say what will happen in a general way. They don't want to talk to you, the audience at KMJ. They say that there are no Fresno Unified parents listening, that it's only a tiny, tiny portion of the Fresno Unified population that has apparently even heard of us. My numbers show something kind of different, like way different. And my sample size goes back a lot further and reaches a lot more people. There is a problem with statistics and the ability to manipulate them. Nevertheless, this is 3 days of wall-to-wall phone calls from people in Fresno. There's been people from the Bay Area who have called. There's folks out on the road who are driving back and forth from Sacramento to Bakersfield. And every one of you is a stakeholder, because the purpose of public education is to serve the community. It is to prepare young people to go out and join the workforce. That, at its absolute most basic, is the role of public education. But Fresno Unified says that you don't matter. Dahlia checked in on Facebook Live, and I want to share this with you guys because it's directly relevant to what we're talking about in a couple of different ways. She says her daughter was jumped and beat up at Wawona Middle School. Now, we had a story earlier this week from Kim Stevens about Wawona families and Wawona teachers going to the Fresno Unified School Board just a week and a half ago, pleading for help with the environment on that campus. Dahlia says her child was jumped, beat up at Wawona when she was in the 8th grade. Dahlia says the staff knew what happened. They knew when it was happening. But other students were blocking the locker room so that the staff couldn't get to the child. Dahlia's daughter had to have physical therapy for months. And Dahlia says that they didn't expel the student. They didn't discipline the kids who recorded it. Dahlia says, quote, it was made to seem like it was nothing. But Dahlia did right by her kid. They pressed charges. The other child was charged with assault and battery. I asked her how her kid's doing. And she says she recovered. It took months of physical therapy. The child that attacked her has had lots of issues previously. So there's not a lot of expectation of remorse or rehabilitation. Dahlia says that in her child's case, Wawona didn't offer counseling. They didn't do anything like that. Wawona is one of the schools that feeds Bullard High. It is a part of the Fresno Unified School District. Dahlia's story is heartbreaking. It is also directly relevant to what's happening at Bullard. Because if kids learn in 7th or 8th grade that violence will be permitted, that it'll be excused, there's nothing to discourage them from being violent again. That should bother everybody. Not just Wawona parents, not just Bullard parents, not just Fresno Unified parents. It should bother every single person in this community. Because if these kids aren't caught, if they aren't disciplined, if they aren't given the discipline and the structure required to teach them that that behavior is unacceptable, the alternative is they will come to believe that it is acceptable. And that, whether it's on a high school campus or later on out in the world, is a behavior that will unfortunately be repeated. Number here is 490-5858. If you want to get in, I recommend the toll-free side, 800-776-5858. Got a couple of lines open over there. As we go to Jay, welcome to KMJ, sir.
Hey, Philip. You guys said a lot. This is terrible that it's happening. First off, I was a pop-up parent. Yes, I have a full-time job. But when I had time, my children did not know when I came and sat down in their classroom. And Central Unified really had the audacity to ask me for a courtesy call. I don't give courtesy calls. I want to see my child, how my child is doing. I want to see what my child's teacher is teaching my child. I don't give a courtesy call. I'm not coming there to cause mischief or be a criminal. I'm there to see how my child is interacting and being interacted with. That's the thing. Voting. I have yet to see a ballot come to the House to vote on the school curriculum. The schools are much more of a dictatorship, and they are a fan of mass punishment. Whereas when something like this happens, mass punishment meaning zero tolerance fighting in school. So both kids can get in trouble. Hopefully in this situation, the right thing does happen. I don't want to put blame on either side. It's a terrible thing that happened. But parents and families are under a dictatorship for the schools. The schools will tell you what we're doing, and that's it. Parent issues. A few years back, there were 4 teens, 4 minors, 2 white, 2 black. The 2 white kids are dead. The 2 black kids, I believe, are in prison because one of the minors got a hold of a gun, and there was a confrontation in the neighborhood up on Herndon and Polk area. So parents do need to be held accountable. I'm an involved parent. Again, I popped up in classrooms whenever at any moment's notice. I support my children, but families need to be invested or asked to come and check out school curriculum, especially when they come out with these rules that the school districts push out. Have a vote on it. Involve the parents. Some parents can't make it, I get that. But those that can make it should be allowed to come in and sit in on these rules instead of being dictated of how your children are going to be governed. Because everybody doesn't have the answer. But all of us adults put together, something good can come out of being together instead of being dictated to. And for parents, don't use a school as your babysitter. You know, it's an all-around problem. And I haven't seen the fight, really don't want to, but this kind of stuff needs to stop. And it needs to be spotlighted. The thing, Bullard doesn't want it to be known. Yeah, I don't want it to be known either. But this is a serious problem that needs to be addressed and stopped. And it can be stopped.
Yeah,
But
Jay.
that can happen.
Yeah, Jay, you're hitting on something that's an essential part of this, and it's part of why I think it's important for the district to talk to everybody in the community and not just what they think is the apparently one household per every other campus that even knows we exist. Parents have to be involved. They have to be engaged. And parent engagement isn't the peach jar flyer telling kids that you can sign up for driving classes when you turn 15 and a half. Engagement is getting parents to show up and pay attention to the curriculum and pay attention to what's going on campus and looking at discipline numbers and graduation rates and literacy rates and all of that. And it's hard and it's boring and it's time consuming. And that's why a lot of parents, and you know this, you know, because you're showing up and you're doing it, and you know it can be hard and boring and time consuming. And a lot of parents won't make the time. They don't have the mental energy at the end of their day. And that's where that election process really, really matters. Because if we are going to defer to a board of trustees, if we are going to defer to a superintendent, if we are going to defer to an administrative structure to make these decisions in our stead, we have to make sure that we're picking the right people. And people who refuse to speak to us, people who refuse to hear from us, are not the right people. I'm sorry to cut you short. I got to get to news. Jim Miller's been standing by. We got more calls coming up, 490-5858, toll-free 800-776-5858. It's the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon on your Friday. I'm Jim Miller here at the KMJ News Center. A woman rushed to the hospital this morning after she was hit by a car. It happened just after 6 a.m. near Palm and Belmont Avenues in Fresno. Police say the driver did stay on scene and did cooperate. The condition of the woman not yet known. According to State Parks press release, the pier at Seacliff State Beach leading up to the cement ship's going to be demolished. This followed recent historic storms that severely impacted communities across California. The public encouraged to attend a farewell plan in conjunction with the Seacliff State Beach cleanup tomorrow from noon to 2. Volunteers can meet for the cleanup in the upper parking lot at noon. The farewell will be held on the pavement in front of the pier at the conclusion of the cleanup. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries joins Congressman Henry Cuellar at the southern border after House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's visit. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has more.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calls for Democrats and Republicans to work together on border security, including further investments in technology.
It will be that investment in technology and innovation that will dramatically increase our ability to stop the flow of fentanyl and other drugs into the United States of America.
And for comprehensive and humane immigration reform, vowing to encourage lawmakers to visit border communities.
To speak to the people who experience life at the border each and every day.
His border visit in Texas a day after House Speaker Kevin McCarthy visited the border in Arizona, slamming the Biden administration's policies. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Rain and snow headed our way next week, about 1/10 of an inch on the valley floor starting Tuesday night, with rain expected off and on through next Friday. Up to 1/4 inch expected in the foothills and snow in the mountains down to 3,000 feet. Otherwise, normal afternoon highs today with temps in the low 60s, then above normal with weekend temps in the mid 60s. Chilly overnights with lows in the 30s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at Friday afternoon traffic, westbound 180 in Fresno. This is at the Peach Avenue off-ramp. A little while ago, there was a hit and run, no injuries. Things are being cleaned up there. In the Hanford area, eastbound 198 at the 12th Avenue off-ramp, a collision, no injuries reported. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Looking for a new dining and beverage experience? Come check out Genesis Bistro at the northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno, where the chef's cuisine along with our mixologist's full cocktail and wine bar are getting people talking. Open for lunch and dinner, make your next meal with friends or family at Genesis Bistro, a one-of-a-kind experience. Also a great place to host a special event or celebration meal. To reserve an event, call 559-314-8284. Are you a talented hairstylist looking for a change? Check out 8028 Salon at Cedar and Nice, where we have open stations available and a move-in special. 8028 Salon offers a unique location and atmosphere for you and your clients. Elegantly located next to Genesis Bistro, your clients will have full options to enjoy food and drinks during service. 8028 Salon only has a few open stations left. Give your talents as a stylist the location you deserve at 8028 Salon. Inquire today at the location, northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno.
Oh, it's doing great. I've been on it now for about 3.5 years. I've lost 67 pounds, and I feel better than I did at age 40. The only thing I'm just getting older. That's the only thing that doesn't stop. Other than that, I feel good.
Listen, we're all getting older, but that doesn't mean you have to feel your age. Are you ready to turn back the clock? It's 2023, and there's never been a better time to start looking and feeling young again. Introducing Andro400.com. Andro400.com has proven solutions to melt belly fat, increase mood and memory, increase energy, and bring that spark back to your love life. Visit Andro400.com or call 888-400-0435 to see which product is right for you. Try the safe and natural way to start feeling and looking your best. And there's nothing to lose with an industry-leading 90-day money-back guarantee. Visit Andro400.com or call 888-400-0435.
Did you know that carbon monoxide is odorless and invisible? And the only way to detect it is by installing carbon monoxide or CO alarms. First Alert is reminding you to install CO alarms on every level and in every bedroom of your home. Also, remember, alarms don't last forever and need to be replaced at least every 5 to 10 years, depending on your alarm. Protect your home and family with safety you can trust by visiting firstalert.com and Lowe's stores for your carbon monoxide alarms.
Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your vehicle and budget. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with peak long life universal premixed antifreeze and coolant. Now just $6.99 after mail-in rebate. Plus, get 2 times O Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly. Limit supply. See store for details.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Right now during Staples Sit-a-thon, select chairs are up to 50% off, like the Union and Scale Essentials Mesh Back Task Chair, now just $89.99 at Staples. In-store only, offer ends 2/18 while supplies last. Staples, the working and learning and savings store.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
4:40 on a Friday afternoon. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad you're here. enjoying the conversation as much as I can. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. The jumping off point for this is it's sad. A little bit of good news, though. I told you guys earlier that Brandon from Halo Jiu-Jitsu had called and offered free jiu-jitsu classes to the young lady who was attacked on campus at Bullard High earlier this week. And like I said, I forwarded the generous offer from Brandon to Mom, and Mom responded just a little bit ago. The kiddo is down. She is going to sign up for those jiu-jitsu classes. So again, thank you to Brandon and the crew at Halo Jiu-Jitsu for making that very generous offer to her. And isn't that a sweet thing that kid is? She's not going to let this keep her down. She's not going to let this define her. She's a good kid, man. I can't wait for you guys to meet her mom. I don't know that we'll put her on the air. Just trying to continue to give her as much privacy as we can. But as far as mom's going to be a part of the show here next week. We just gotta make the schedules line up, man, because people got to work for a living. Beth, I appreciate you calling back. Welcome to KMJ.
Hey, how are you doing? I just want to touch on a couple things. First, as a former employee of Fresno Unified, I haven't taught since the pandemic, but taught for them for over 10 years in elementary. Oh, wow. And then I live around the block from Wawona, and my son goes to Wawona. So this is what happens in Fresno Unified. They don't follow policies. They don't follow their own board policies or California Ed Code. And then when things happen, and they don't make teachers enforce it, and they don't enforce dress code for employees. So then when, what hits the fan and something happens, they just hide from it and try to either brush it under like nothing happened, or they try to blame the lower level employee, like the teacher or the janitor or whoever's, under the admin, as opposed to actually looking at who's at fault and whatnot. So this is the admin not wanting to talk to you guys is exactly what happens with us teachers whenever we have issues and we need help. Outside of I need help learning, how to teach multiplication. Now that they send in coaches and help you with, but these other issues, this is the MO of Fresno Unified. So just to say that. Also, it's one of the reasons why I haven't gone back since the pandemic, and I have anxiety when I think about having to go back to work to this district. So with that said, the thing that irked me was that this new superintendent of the Bullard area, which I live in, that replaced Terry Sladek, who is an awesome, one of the first board members that I really have seen that really cares and actually helps parents and actually will go and help a teacher or anybody that calls. You talk to him. Most people you talk to a secretary, and you maybe get an email from the actual board member or superintendent. So this lady doesn't want to talk to your station because she says only 5% of parents listen to you guys. KMJ, the number one news radio. When I used to work at Channel 30 as a sales exec, you guys were our number one competitor. I don't think so. I don't buy that 1 second. And then also, too, she's an elected official.
Yeah.
Anybody that's an adult that lives in Bullard High area can vote for her. So really, all those people, all voting age adults, should be her people that she wants to reach.
Yeah.
Also, anybody that lives in Fresno Unified, have children or not, you can go to Constituent Services. It's the department that handles complaints with the district. I believe all districts have this. Clovis does, Madera, they have to by law. So anybody, they have 3 forms. 1 form if you're an employee and you have a complaint, 1 if you're a parent or student and have a complaint, and then 1 if you're just a resident living in Fresno Unified with a complaint. You can complain about anything to the district, and they have to investigate it. You can do this by going to the website. You can go into your local school and ask the principal or office manager to print out the form, or you can go down to the district and get it. But anybody can make a complaint. So therefore, anyone, again, I reiterate, anyone living in the district that's an adult over the age of 18 really those are the people she would want to reach, you would think. Maybe she doesn't realize that. But again, that's the ignorance of the admin in Fresno Unified, and this is the kind of stuff I used to have to deal with all the time when I worked for them. So that's something that all your people that are outraged by this, whether you have kids or not, if you live in Fresno Unified, go and file a complaint. Those actually get investigated. They have ex-Fresno PD detectives that work for them that go and do like full-on investigations where they'll bring in people in and interrogate them like the Fresno PD does. And then my suggestion as a teacher, do the form online.
Yeah.
And then call Sacramento, because I don't know who it is anymore. I used to have the name, but people move and get promotions or whatever. But you can call the Ed Department of Sacramento, which is the state Department of Education, and get a name of who oversees complaints of school districts, and you CC them. And call downtown to the Fresno County Office of Education and get the same email from somebody down there and CC these people, and you will get a response within an hour. I guarantee you. She'll call you and want to do a radio show if they get enough complaints, and those have to be investigated. Now, if you go into a school, the principal and the office manager might talk you out of it, because here's another thing, Fresno Unified. They also don't like to let parents know that they have options. Like the end of the year CBAC test that's on a tablet, do you know that you fill out a form and your kid can take the old-fashioned paper test? But they tell us at our professional development meetings to not really tell parents that. Only if they ask. Don't publicize it. There's lots of stuff like that the school district does. And so anyways, I just want to touch on that. And then just because of the Lisa Smitkamp, who I love, best DA in the world. My brother's LAPD. He loves her too.
Oh, yeah.
My only thing with what and I totally get it. There's a lot with juvenile, you really have to use a lot of well, if a child did stomp a student, we would do this. You can't use names. I get all that. But you would think, because Fresno Unified uses a lot of Fresno PD resources, and sheriffs, because Wawona is in sheriffs in county, so it's sheriffs that are over at that school. You would think that if crime or behavior is getting way out of hand, that there is something the DA can do, because you're getting resources, because Fresno is notorious for this, and I have family that are on Fresno PD that get called to schools because nobody wants to touch the kid that's ran out of class and throwing stuff around the campus. They'll walk behind him and follow him because he does have to be monitored and with an adult, on campus, but they won't touch him. And a lot of it they can't. In order to touch a kid, like you're a special ed teacher or you're a security guard, you have to take these classes in order to learn how to properly restrain kids. And so nobody wants to touch them, not even the security guards that have these what do I want to call it, qualifications to hold and,
the training,
restrain kids because of liability. So they'll call Fresno PD. And my uncle who used to work in Southeast, he'd have to go to Torona's middle school and go follow because nobody wants to do their job on the campus. The counselors don't, the principals don't, everybody's worried about liability. And so he used to tell me it's half of our calls are to schools to go and do with the job. Now, I don't know, because this was before they had resource officers on junior high campus, and maybe it's not as bad, but you would think at some point the DA can go in and audit, and should. I think she should. If she's listening right now, you need to do something. I know there's a lot you can't do, but you need to get with the chief of police or do something, because it's bad. It is bad.
Beth, I really appreciate where you're coming from. And I know that DA Smitkamp listens, because she called yesterday to respond to some comments that were made. She was extremely helpful in helping me to understand exactly what you're talking about, because we're all frustrated and we all want this to get dealt with. And so we're looking to responsible people. And so we want the people who we know are responsible adults in the room to jump in on this. And what I learned talking to her yesterday is the district attorney does not engage as a law enforcement entity in the jurisdiction of the Fresno Police Department, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office. They take referrals from those law enforcement agencies and then act upon those referrals from the agencies. So the district attorney's office can in a very broad way, supply statistics about prosecutions that are brought to their office and where charges are filed, where charges are dropped, that kind of thing. They're limited by law in what they can say about, I think even down to like getting as granular as specific campus to campus. They can't talk about individual kids. They can't talk about those unique outcomes because the kids have an absolute right to privacy as minors, both in the school system and the criminal justice system. But the district attorney is on board. The district attorney does not want to see our schools degenerate into a war zone. The frustrating part is we know that the district attorney will take any legitimate referral, investigate it, and act on it. But it has to get to her because there is a chain of command. There is a rule of law that requires that this move through the law enforcement agency first. So I right now, if Lisa Smith-Camp announced she was running for governor, I'd vote for her. She's excellent at her job, and the woman's judgment is exceptional. But she has rules that she has to follow too, and so I don't want this to turn into the DA isn't doing what the DA is supposed to do. The DA is doing exactly what that office is supposed to do. But the DA has to act upon what is referred to them by those other agencies. The disconnect, in my opinion, the disconnect lies with the school being willing to move forward with the prosecution, with the parents involved in any altercation being willing to move forward with a pressing of charges. And that's on the parents and that's on the schools, and to an extent, that, of course, is also on the SROs and the law enforcement agencies from which they've been assigned. So I want to be clear that there is a separation there that is the law, and I don't want it to turn into the DA's not doing anything. The DA is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And I have no doubt in my mind, as long as Lisa Smith-Camp is the district attorney of the county of Fresno, they will continue to take these cases seriously and act on them deliberately and thoughtfully. But I just want to be clear, we got to start with the campus, with the parents, and with the law enforcement agencies. It can't start at the end. Beth, I really appreciate your call. I'm glad that you checked back in today. We're running super late for traffic. Holy smoke. Sorry about that, Ron.
Well, that's okay, Philip. I just have a couple of things to mention here. Madera County, 12,000 block of Road 23, a collision with injuries. And in Hanford, eastbound 198 at the 12th Avenue off-ramp, there's been a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one, "I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better," unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft, sandy soils of the West, the clay and cobble of the East, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today. at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit stricklandwelldrilling.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-929-2121. That's 1-800-929-2121. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-929-2121. That's 1-800-929-2121.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Real, honest conversation. News Talk 580, 1059, KMJ. This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
Rolling up on 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon at News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Appreciate you guys coming along for the ride this afternoon, or bringing me along for the ride, I guess would be more appropriate. Phones are open. Got lines both at 800-776-5858 and 490-5858 if you're in the 559 area code. More calls coming up. Tracy, Ellen, Bob, I see you guys there. We're going to get to them in just a minute. We're going to take a quick break for an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ newsroom. But if you caught Beth's call and you're interested in learning more about the Fresno Unified School District constituent services for staff, for parents and students, and for everybody else in Fresno, because you're a constituent too, even if Nikki Henry doesn't think you matter, you'll find the link to that website on social media, Facebook and Twitter. I've posted it up at Drive KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
Hi, I'm Selena Janae, Events Manager for the Fresno Chamber of Commerce. Please join me in celebrating the 2023 Valley Business Awards presented by Central Valley Community Bank on Wednesday, February 22nd at the historic Warner's Theater. We are thrilled to honor Sally Caglia as the 2023 Leon S. Peters Award recipient. Also being recognized, Jeffrey Scott Agency, Fresno Street Eats, Clark Bros Inc., and Lavrall LLC. Tickets are on sale now at fresnochamber.com. That's fresnochamber.com.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia. Good Feet, the official arch support of Fresno State Athletics.
California's #1 selling RV dealer does it again. Best RV presents its Blowout RV Sale now through March 5th. Come in now and see hundreds of motorhomes, toy haulers, fifth wheels, travel trailers, tent trailers, as well as Class A, B, and C. The selection is endless at Best RV. Best RV has the lowest prices, free dealer prep, and no hidden fees. Financing available. Best RV's huge blowout sale with deep discounts. It couldn't be a better time to get down to Best RV. Check them out at 5340 Taylor Court in Turlock or online at bestrv.com.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Churchancy Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Churchancy Gold Resort and Casino.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Merced Police Department investigating a homicide in Merced Thursday. Police were called out to the area of White Fir Court and Wooddale Avenue. They located a 51-year-old woman inside the residence. They say the woman had visible injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. The incident was brought to the attention of the police department after the victim failed to pick up her child from school. Detectives attempting to locate the victim's 54-year-old husband when they learned he was killed in a train versus pedestrian accident earlier that same day. The child was not harmed and has been safely removed from the situation. This apparent murder-suicide remains under investigation. There's no current threat to public safety as it appears to be an isolated incident. A man convicted in a North Fresno barbershop murder is denied a motion for a new trial. KMJ's Liz Kern reports.
Prosecutors say 31-year-old Luis Lopez stabbed a fellow barber after an argument at Kalima's Fade Shop off of Blackstone in Herndon. 23-year-old Alex Solorio was left to die. In February of last year, a Fresno County jury found Lopez not guilty of first-degree murder. In a subsequent trial, he was found guilty of second-degree murder with 16 years to life in prison. His new defense lawyers requested a new trial, claiming there was an error in court proceedings. On Wednesday, a Fresno County judge denied the motion, the defense planning to file a new appeal. Lopez will be sentenced February 23rd. He faces 15 years to life in prison. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Thousands of people inside the Selland Arena in downtown Fresno yesterday to attend the funeral of Selma police officer Gonzalo Carrasco Jr. He was shot and killed in the line of duty last month. Carrasco was a young, expectant father. At the funeral, Selma's police chief, Rudy Alcarez, says his death came too soon, but he was doing what he loved. Alcarez also says he made a positive impact during his first 2 years as a sworn officer and treated his workplace like his second home. Farm exports expected to take a big drop over the next several years. KMJ Ag Director Don York reports.
The USDA is projecting that food and agricultural exports will drop by 12% through fiscal year 2026. A global economic slowdown, inflation, higher interest rates, and the strong U.S. dollar are all being blamed. Overall economic conditions are projected to slow U.S. exports quicker than imports, leading to a trade deficit for our country. But by the year 2027, ag exports are expected to be on the rebound. Don York, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Rain and snow headed our way next week, about 1/10 of an inch on the valley floor starting Tuesday night, with rain expected off and on through next Friday. Up to 1/4 inch expected in the foothills and snow in the mountains down to 3,000 feet. Otherwise, normal afternoon highs today with temps in the low 60s, then above normal with weekend temps in the mid 60s. Chilly overnights with lows in the 30s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
And taking a look at afternoon traffic in this would be Tulare County near Visalia, southbound 99. Actually, northbound 99 at Merritt Drive, the off-ramp there, hit and run with no injuries. In Madera County, the 12,000 block of Road 23, a collision with injuries. Emergency vehicles are on scene. And in the Hanford area, eastbound 198 at the 12th Avenue off-ramp, there's been a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059.
This is KMJ.
Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
I don't know how many of you would recognize this. I don't know how many of you would have picked up on this, but this piece of music I used, I'm going to say, for at least 30% of the promos that I made when I was producing the Chris Daniels Show for a decade here at KMJ. Maybe that's what you recognize it from. Maybe you know the dirty secret of what that piece of music is. Josh, do you know who that band is? You know who it is. I know Ron doesn't know who the band is. It is, in fact, one of the only entities in the world less popular than Congress and cockroaches. It is currently tied in popularity with the school board of the Fresno Unified School District. That's Nickelback, everybody. You're welcome. lot of really great phone calls, a lot of thoughtful phone calls coming in today, and I appreciate you guys picking up the phone and being a part of the program and talking about this situation. And it's one story that has become two, and it has become two because of the communications director of the Fresno Unified School District, trustee Susan Wittrup of the Bullard area, and by proxy, Superintendent Bob Nelson, who has allowed both of these people to effectively say that they will not speak to the KMJ audience. In Susan's case, she feels I'm sensationalizing a story about a kid getting kicked in the head, and the school district responding to it by asking mom not to post anything about it on social media or, talk about what the consequences of doing things like kicking students in the head might be with the media. According to Susan, I'm sensationalizing this. According to Nikki Henry, the communications director, who, again, on all of these communications, Principal Armin and Turigian, Trustee Wittrup, Superintendent Bob Nelson, a guy who gets paid almost as much as the President of the United States, and then this communications officer, Nikki Henry. Nikki Henry told me that she's not going to talk to me, and she's not going to make Bob Nelson or Susan Wittrup or anybody else available to talk to me because you don't exist, the KMJ audience. You don't matter. You're not stakeholders. You're not constituents. What happens at Fresno Unified is none of your damn business, and you should just be grateful that they will allow you to pay your taxes to fund their $2 billion budget. Because, by the way, the Fresno Unified School District actually has a larger operating budget than the city of Fresno. Look, I don't care if they talk to me. Honest to God, I don't. Call Brodsky and Mousson. Call Appleton. Call into the Fresno's Morning News, the award-winning Fresno's Morning News with Christopher Gabriel and Matt Ottstott. Don't talk to me. You think I'm a jerk? That's okay. I can take it. I'm a little bit of a jerk, to be perfectly honest, which both Ron and Josh will confirm, I'm sure. That was diplomatic. I've never seen Ron McCary's poker face before. Yeah, I could be a little bit abrasive. I could come on a little bit strong. I'm a parent. I'm a Fresno Unified parent. I've got a kid attending a Fresno Unified high school right now. So when I see this video of a cheerleader, a kid who's like 100 pounds soaking wet, getting kicked in the skull by a student athlete, it makes me mad. It does. I'm not going to pretend to be objective. And part of the condescending shoot down from the communications officer is that I'm not being journalistic because I won't accept the homework assignment that she wanted to give me instead of answering my very direct, very simple, very easily answered questions about how the district is going to deal with situations like this, understanding they can't talk about this specific student. The other thing was to cite a study that is a sample size of 733 people. That works out to 6 people per campus. Bullard, if you recall, has about 2,500 kids, which means that theoretically there are 5,000 parents attached to Bullard. And their sample size, to say that nobody's listening to KMJ, out of 2,500 on the one campus, is 6. Now, my numbers show something very, very different. My program director, Blake Taylor, earlier today sent me metrics for our streaming. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to share those numbers with you guys. So I'm just going to say that if those streaming numbers, which are accurate because it's based on actual interaction with the stream. It's like Nielsen's and radio ratings and stuff. You can get a little bit nebulous, and sometimes you get a weird book where, whatever. This is based on actual behavior. It's a thing. It's a measurement based on verified activity. Based on those streaming numbers, there is no damn earthly way that 60% of the Fresno Unified population doesn't know who we are, and only 5% ever listen to us under any circumstances. What she said was stupid, and it was based on an extremely flawed study that was created not to judge media, but to judge parent engagement, because Fresno Unified doesn't rate its administration or its success on kids being able to read or write or do math. They base it on this metric called parent engagement. And the metric's basically a bunch of made-up numbers that say they're doing a really super-duper good job communicating, which is why if you as a Fresno Unified parent have noticed that every day, every week, there's phone calls, there's voicemails, there's emails. They don't say anything new, or they say very little new. But every Sunday night, the phone rings, and every Sunday night I get the voicemail and I get the email. And it's reminders about dress code and not to let your kid have Uber Eats sent to the school. And maybe there's something happening. Maybe there's a dance coming up. Maybe there's a new driver's ed class enrolling, something like that. But they're scoring themselves on that. And they're using that same study that, by the way, you paid for. Doesn't matter if you're a parent. If you live in Fresno and you paid property taxes, you paid for that study. You paid for that so that this woman, with the permission of her bosses, the administration of the Fresno Unified School District, could tell you she will not make a responsible person available to talk to you because either you don't exist or you don't count. That's a whole other story. And it's arrogant in a way that is almost breathtaking. 490-5858 is the number here. 800-776-5858. Tracy, it's been a minute. Welcome back.
Thank you, Philip. It's really inexcusable what the communications officer said. And I think really that may be the person that's going to get the boot because maybe she was frustrated or maybe they think that they've got too much power there and they can do whatever they want. But nonetheless, you got to come out with the answer that maybe you wouldn't have liked. You have to have a deflective answer in the sense that, the Fresno Unified School District is looking into this matter and taking it very seriously, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Wouldn't have given anybody, there wouldn't have been enough fire in the storm for anybody to come up to what happened. But what I would say, I really love the caller you had a while ago, the man who talked about basically holding different stakeholders accountable, basically the teacher going in and seeing the schools, talking to the principal or getting involved with the school district and the trustees. I think the biggest problem, and I personally think the biggest problem in our society in the teaching profession is that the inmates are running the asylum. When you had a caller talk about the fact that, his own kid was figuring out ways to jerry-rig the pouch so that he could use his phone and all that stuff, I'm going down to the principal and telling the principal, or I'm taking the phone away from my kid and saying, you know what, you don't get that phone anymore. You don't get that phone anymore. When the teacher's out of line, I'm going to be down there talking to the principal about the fact that the teacher is being out of line. When the trustees are trying to whitewash everything that they're doing, you got to get before the school board and not let them time you out in a meeting. But there's always a time and a place. And I think I honestly believe we've gotten to the point where too many people, for some reason, have basically been taught that they can't do anything about it, and I believe it's because of the liability issue. My son had an issue with a special needs student who basically my son was a teacher, and he was interviewed by a detective for 3 hours because of an incident that the parent had discussed and said that this had happened with their student who also, who wasn't, in his full faculties.
Sure.
And then come to find out that same parent did it 3 other times before. So for the same type of thing, to protect our child's interest, people have to start getting the boot when they start taking advantage of these programs. They have to, the Fresno Unified School District has to say, hey, kick to the head. I'm not going to release the person's name, the child's name, but you are out. Violence like that, and if we don't want to get into shaming people or stuff like that, bad kids, you're out. Fresno School, I'm not defending the school district per se, but their hands have been tied so much that they're probably more afraid of the lawyers than giving people the boot. And that's part of the problem that we have in society as a whole.
Oh, Tracy, that's you're right on the money. That last line, they're more afraid of the lawyers than they are of consequences for the students. That you're exactly right. We've got a board of trustees who think that they are entitled to a lifetime appointment to sit there and dictate to you what your kids learn. We've got a superintendent who's making, God almighty, is there anybody in Fresno without MD or JD after their name making $400,000 a year? And he won't talk to his constituents unless it's to get an attaboy because he's just so gosh darn awesome, super neato. And isn't everything wonderful? And if we aren't doing militant positivity, then he's unwilling to deal with it. A lot of this comes back to parents have to retake schools. Parents have to demand accountability from boards of trustees. They have to require accountability from campus administration, from district administration. And they've got to show up and they've got to sit through these tedious, endless meetings where, again, in Fresno, they pushed all the public comment to the end of the show. So you have to come in, register ahead of time to get to speak. And then you have to wait through the entire meeting. And you may be allowed at a maximum 3 minutes. If too many people show up, the Fresno Unified School Board will cut you to 1 minute because they don't want to hear from you. You got to remember that. Stay angry. November is coming. Not soon enough.
Well, we got no choice. All the girls and boys making all that noise 'cause they found new toys. Well, we can't salute ya, can't find a flag. If that don't suit ya, that's a drag. School's out for summer.
Looking at Friday afternoon traffic, Highway 43 at East Mountain View, we've had a collision. No injuries involved there. In Madera County, the 12,000 block of Road 23, there's cleanup going on after a collision. Injuries were involved in that one. With KMJ Traffic, in for Greg Lane, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
President's Day at Fashion Furniture. Now, you probably know what that means. Big discounts throughout the store. People have come out of the woodwork for this annual furniture clearance for 63 years. You'll save hundreds on selected items, including the best sellers in Central California. And this weekend, that includes Flex Steel. No question about it. Fresno loves Flex Steel. So what's the big deal this year? Well, how about half price on closeouts? A top grain leather dual reclining love seat with a console that was $29.98, now just $12.97. Hey, wait a minute, hold on. That is more than half off. Now remember, when these closeouts are gone, they're gone. Closeouts are limited to stock on hand. Hurry in, check out the savings. By the way, ask about 0% financing to save you even more. Fashion Furniture on El Paso, across from River Park. Believe me, there's nothing like it in all of California.
I have to say this. I am personally astounded how the Glass Shop in Visalia continues to do everything right. They're making some amazing business decisions, and that's great for you. Okay, so what now? No tax whatsoever on any windows up until April 15th. That'll save you plenty right there, especially if you got a big job. No taxes. They'll front that bill with Uncle Sam. You don't worry about it. Next, Scott has become kind of a living legend in this business of windows and doors and all of this stuff. He needs a title, like, shall we call him the Wizard of Windows? When he comes to your home, he'll tell you before you even know what you need, and this is blowing people's minds. He'll tell you what type of window. He'll tell you what brand. Now, you ultimately make the decision, but this guy knows. And the Glass Shop has windows that have a double lifetime warranty. You sell your home, and whoever buys the home gets that warranty as well. And they'll get it done like in 3 to 4 weeks, where most companies take 2 to 3 months. Click theglassshop.com. It's that simple. The Glass Shop in Visalia. Click theglassshop.com. There you go. Tax-free, don't forget.
This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom.
5:23 on a Friday afternoon. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. My name is Philip Teresi. Phones are open for your calls, 490-5858. We've been talking about Fresno Unified, a story that starts with a battery on campus, and besides their inability or unwillingness to handle that professionally, their response to a reasonable request for useful information for their constituents was to tell me to get bent because they don't think I'm nice. And to tell you don't matter, and they're not going to make time to talk to you because not enough of you are Fresno Unified parents. You don't contribute to the self-licking ice cream cone that is the metrics by which Fresno Unified judges whether or not they're successful. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. We'll talk to Ellen. Welcome to KMJ, Ellen.
Hi, Philip. I've been thinking about this all day long and actually have worked on lots of different statistics and done some research because I am a Fresno Unified parent. We have a school in Fresno Unified that is ranked nationally and is called University High School. My daughter was in Clovis Unified, and if you don't think for a minute that this doesn't happen in Clovis Unified where kids are getting punched, there's videotaping of it going on, there's drugs going down in the bathroom, there's cyberbullying, then you are wrong, my friend. It's going on.
I don't think that anybody at any point in the 3 days that we've been talking about this has suggested that there aren't fights on other campuses or batteries on other campuses. And University High School, isn't that a charter school? I mean, it operates independently of Fresno
yes,
Unified.
But they are considered Fresno Unified.
Okay, but to come back to the point here, yeah, fights happen. Don't you think it's probably important that we talk about that and make sure the consequences are known? I mean, I don't want to be rude, but right now, excuse me, I want to make sure that we aren't making excuses for Fresno Unified doing a bad job handling a thing that the other school districts in this area haven't had this much trouble with.
That's only because you don't know about it, and you're not having callers call up, and I wish they would, and share, because I do have accounts, and I know other parents do too. And if you did have those stories coming to light, then you would shed light on them.
Well, then, Ellen, share a story with me. Tell me about a school district that won't talk to the media because there's not enough people from their metrics to make it worth talking to. And tell me about a school district that let a battery happen on campus and then told a parent not to talk about it because it made the school look bad. Guide me to the story.
I don't agree with how they handled talking to you. I think that there's an investigation going on.
Sure there is.
And they don't have all of the information to share with you yet, and how they handled it was poorly. I think you have your Clovis person who you said, Kelly, was, so much more polished. She's like a politician. She knows what to say to the media. The Fresno person does not. And so instead of bashing her all day long, why don't we look and see what Fresno Unified is doing right? Since you have a child in Fresno Unified, if you hate them so much, why do you keep them in Fresno Unified?
Well, Ellen, so take a breath. Let me respond to you here. One, University High School does not answer to the Fresno Unified Board of Trustees. Just got that confirmed from a former trustee who knows for sure. Two, if my child had a problem like this on the Fresno Unified campus, not only would I be screaming about it here, but I'd be screaming about it all over the local media, and I would have lawyered up by now. Right. But in terms of trying to polish this particular lawn sausage and trying to put a silver lining on it, I'm not going to take the bait on that. They handled this wrong. They need to answer for that. And my insisting that they answer for that is not exclusive of the fact that other ills exist in the world. So help me get to your point.
Let me clarify something. University High does have a different board of trustees. They are still considered Fresno Unified School District.
Okay, we're quibbling about stuff that I don't care about. The problem didn't happen at University High. University High is a shining jewel in our community. Have there been fights at University High? Oh, God, probably. Eventually, there's a fight at every single high school ever in the history of education. I don't understand what your point is. Yes, fights happen. Yes, it's terrible. Yes, and a light needs to be shined on it whenever a school fails to serve their students and when they fail to serve their community. Are you asking me to not talk about this failure because I'm not complaining enough about other schools? Or are you just not liking that I'm not going to let Fresno Unified tell my audience they don't matter?
Yeah, well, I don't agree. I don't agree with how they handled it, that's for sure. I think the voters voted in the Fresno Unified Board of Trustees. Sladek was voted out. He came on air yesterday, and he constantly talks about how 17% of students can't read. That's actually not factual. It's 32%, which isn't even better. It's still bad. But why are we promoting such negativity in Fresno Unified? I just don't agree with it.
You've made that clear. There's a problem, and I'm talking about it. There's a problem, and I'm pointing to it, and I'm saying there's a problem. In fact, I think that there's several problems that are being brought to light by this situation. But just don't talk about it is exactly what this Board of Trustees is trying to tell me to do. they don't want to talk about it, so they won't supply somebody to speak about it. That's
Right.
wrong.
I'm not going to argue with you about that, but I do just want to say that Fresno Unified does have some positive things, and I know that's not the subject, but when we hear so much negative, I think it takes away from the students that are doing great things and the campuses that are doing wonderful things.
Ellen,
and I know it's not,
Ellen, I want you to go and I want you to watch this video of this girl getting kicked in the head, and then call me back and tell me about the shiny happy people.
Well,
no, I'm serious. I want you to go watch this video, see this kid get kicked in the head.
How do I access it? I don't have social media.
You can go right over to our news partner, kmph.com. It's right there on the website. You can't miss it. I want you to go watch it, and then I want you to call me back and tell me if her and her parents should take time out to kumbaya on all the good things that are happening.
No, I'm not going to kumbaya. I did see the video of the kid that got hit on the East Coast, and then she committed suicide.
Yeah, and that's why I'm
sure it's similar.
Ellen, that's why I'm mystified by your call. Why in the world, if you've seen that, if you know about that, if you have an understanding of what's going on, why in the world would you call in and want to steer it to? But there's good things too. Yeah, before he was history's greatest monster, Adolf Hitler was an artist. I'm not taking time out for that.
I didn't get to finish my points.
Okay, I have
six. I was going to make that it has to do.
Ellen, I've got 60 seconds left for you. Then I have to go to the news. So please make the point.
Well, my point was we can't focus. These people voted the trustees, and if you're unhappy with them, you can vote them out.
That's why we're talking about it.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno on your Friday afternoon. I'm Jim Miller here at the KMJ News Center. Fresno County Sheriff's Office asking for the public's help in finding a 13-year-old boy. Brody Musgrave left his house yesterday along Sierra Avenue between West and Fruit. He was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt, blue jeans, and boots. Anyone with information on Musgrave, you're asked to contact the Sheriff's Office right away. Longtime magazine print plant in Merced closing its doors. Global marketing company Quad Graphics will permanently shut down its Cooper Avenue plant. More than 200 employees expected to lose those jobs. It once produced national magazines like TV Guide, People Magazine, Time, and Sports Illustrated. The plant's scheduled to close April the 28th. Could it be the Big Apple for Derek Carr? The NFL Network reporting the former Bulldog star will visit the Jets. Carr was released by the Raiders Tuesday after he declined to waive his no-trade clause, and just before more than $40 million of his contract would have become guaranteed. Derek Carr, possibly a Jet. Well, tensions continue to intensify between the U.S. and China. Fox's Jackie Henrich reports.
Well, both Biden and Vice President Harris said that they don't expect this spy balloon incident is going to greatly impact diplomatic relations with Beijing. But remember, China's not taking our calls right now, at least not at the highest levels. And we're also engaged in a bit of a sanctions tit for tat. China has put sanctions on two major defense manufacturers, Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, in response to the U.S. blacklisting 6 Chinese entities that are linked to their spy program. So we will see if the president and Chinese President Xi Jinping speak as Biden says that he expects that they will. But in the meantime, Biden is defending his decision to shoot the 3 likely harmless objects out of the sky.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Rain and snow headed our way next week, about 1/10 of an inch on the valley floor starting Tuesday night, with rain expected off and on through next Friday. Up to a 1/4 inch expected in the foothills and snow in the mountains down to 3,000 feet. Otherwise, normal afternoon highs today with temps in the low 60s, then above normal with weekend temps in the mid 60s. Chilly overnights with lows in the 30s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And a couple of things to note in traffic in Tulare County, southbound 99 at the Beardsley Avenue off-ramp. There's been a collision with no injuries. And Highway 43 at East Mountain View, there's been a collision with no injuries, 4 vehicles involved there. With KMJ Traffic, in for Greg Lane, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help in the bedroom. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
Mike Sherinian, owner of the Elbow Room.
Brunch has become the most rockin' day of the week, and we've made it now 2 days. So Saturday and Sunday brunch starts at 10 in the morning, and what really makes those 2 days unique is that you can get 14 or 15 different brunch items, and then you can get another 20 lunch items. There's going to be something for everybody.
Partner that delicious brunch with one of the Elbow Room's specialty craft cocktails and make a toast to great taste. Try our famous Bloody Mary topped with applewood smoked bacon. Our tangy guava delight is sure to wake up your taste buds. And the blood orange bourbon sour is brimming with flavor. A full craft cocktail menu awaits at the Elbow Room.
And that gives you every reason to come in on Saturday and Sunday, because nobody's going to say, well, I can't get what I want. Brunch is where it's at.
The Elbow Room in Fig Garden Village. Call 227-1234 to make your reservations.
Treat yourself to something great.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WIN for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WIN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WIN.
Are the continuous rising energy bills crushing you? Want to pay less for your home's electricity and lock in that lower rate into the future? Your family deserves the best. And when it comes to powering your home, there's no better provider than Simply Solar. With Simply Solar, going solar has never been easier. From our expert consultants to our in-house installers and the best financing. No payments for 18 months. Take advantage of the solar tax credit before it's gone. Going with Simply Solar means more money in your pocket for the things that matter, plus clean and renewable power to light up your home and family. Call now for a free consultation. For our Central Valley listeners, mention this radio ad for $1,000 off your solar system. Net metering ends in California on April 13th. Call Simply Solar at 559-892-1043 now. That's 559-892-1043. Simply Solar, keeping solar simple. 559-892-1043.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
First, thank you very much for all you do, and thank you for personally inspiring me.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Shame. I know. I got snippy. I know. Not supposed to do that. Supposed to be nice. Supposed to be patient. God help me. We're 3 days into a conversation that starts with a kid getting kicked in the head. It extends into a school telling a parent not to seek help online because it makes the school look bad. It continues to a school district who's lying about providing services to a child who's probably not going to ever go back to their campus. And it then grows into the story of a school district that won't speak to a media outlet. Never mind me, just KMJ, because that's specifically what the communications thing from Fresno Unified had to say to me, that they're not going to speak to KMJ because our audience doesn't represent a significant portion of Fresno Unified families. That being despite metrics from my side of the fence that say you guys represent nearly half of Fresno Unified population on any given day. And then to call in, well, there's good things too. Yeah, there are good things. Oh, and Dowdy called me out for the Hitler comment, a Godwin's law violation, and I will take ownership of the fact that I did that. But I just can't think of anything more inane and frustrating than calling in to say don't talk about a thing that affects literally the entire community when not just extrapolated out to its logical conclusion, but as a matter of literal fact when it comes to a taxpayer-funded organization declining to speak to the taxpayers and declining to speak to a parent, because I am a Fresno Unified parent. And I am a Fresno Unified parent before I'm a disc jockey, before I'm a talk show host. It's just absolutely maddening. So I want to apologize to you guys. I know you don't like it when I get cranky. I'm going to do my best. We got Tavo on the phone. If I remember right, Tavo's a pretty good caller. Don't let me down, dude. Tavo, welcome back to KMJ.
Philip, I'm not sure if that was a Fresno Unified teacher that called you, last caller, but every time they do call, when they talk about Terry Slavic, they always bust him about how off he is a little bit on his percentages of the students that aren't reading at grade level. And
yeah,
they don't want to talk about their failure, whatever. All they want to do is blast him, and they blast him about being off a few percent, maybe by his numbers he gets from Margaret Mims at the jail and how he did his research and how he's on top of things. And they wanted to get rid of him, and they did. And it's so sad that when that lady was on with Sunday Morning Manners with Alex Balakian,
yeah,
and she kind of was, she wasn't that bad. And she said some things about, well, I'm going to get some things done because I'm not going to be a bull in the china closet, and I'm going to be able to work with these people. And they got what they got because the teachers union supported her full bore. And you're right. You don't win these elections by thousands of votes. You win them by a few hundred.
Yeah.
And they're just sweeping this under the rug and trying, get rid of people. And then this lady just complained about Terry again, about how he comes on your show and he tells the truth about the failures of the system that's failing the kids. And it's their job. They have one job to do, put out a good product, and they're not doing it.
Yeah.
I live in Visalia, and I've wanted to call you for 2 years to tell you about Terry Slavic. I look at this guy and go, damn, that's exactly what every school district needs. They need someone that is standing there saying the kids aren't learning, but our biggest thing on the agenda today is about the bathroom trans issue. That's what we need to talk about tonight, instead of talking about why these kids aren't learning anything.
Yeah, Tavo, I think that you and I could probably find ourselves in agreement that there's a lot of energy being expended on culture war stuff and bogeymen that are the result of people thinking that Tucker Carlson's a news program and not an entertainment product. I don't know what the population of trans kids or gay kids or gender nonconforming kids is in the Fresno Unified School. I have no idea. And I don't think that that's a metric that the schools could share with us because of safety concerns for these kids. But as far as that 17% number, I'm actually looking at the iReady diagnostic for 2022-2023 for grades K to 10 in the Fresno Unified School District. And the number, as quoted frequently by former trustee Sladek, of 17%, I'm literally looking at the page right now. Approximately 2 in 10 students are on or above grade level in reading. In other words, 17%. 17% of students are on or above grade level in reading. In math, in math, it's 9%. And we have a school board that wants to talk about parent engagement, But when a parent wants to engage on why can't my kid spell engagement, they've got to wait until the end of a 5-hour-long meeting to get 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 180 seconds, if they're lucky, to address a school board that doesn't respond to them and doesn't do anything to fix the problem. We've got a superintendent who will hold a press conference and do a media tour when Mackenzie Bezos rolls through and drops a boatload of money on the district. And when it's time to talk about something that is not all shiny, happy people and smiling and back patting, all of a sudden he doesn't have time. He doesn't do it because it's not militantly positive. There is a problem in the Fresno Unified School District. And that problem starts, as these problems frequently do, with the leadership of the Fresno Unified School District. This fish is rotting from the head down. And in this case, it is the Board of Trustees and it is the superintendent. It is the people in the office downtown. It's not the teachers. The teachers are working their butts off. They're doing everything that they can, man. And for the most part, I don't think that it's the campus administration. Although I think they get their hearts broken and I think they get their careers threatened, that culture of retribution that has been mentioned more than once. There's a problem at Fresno Unified, and it is the responsibility of every taxpayer. It is the responsibility of every voter in this community to remember that, to hold that in your mind and in your heart. When Election Day rolls around and this same class of clowns shows up at your door, "Hi, I'm a caring member of the community that wants to serve your children. I'll never actually listen to another word you say, but right now I want you to know how much I love kids." They love the paycheck. They love the power. They love getting to promote their own little slices of social warfare. It has nothing to do with educating your children. It has everything to do with the firm. And it's wrong. And we're not going to let this go. Quick heads up. There is a little boy named Brody Musgrave. They're looking for him. He was last seen off Sierra and West yesterday between 2 and 3 p.m. He's wearing a light gray sweatshirt, blue jeans, brown boots, and spectacles. If you see him, call 911. Let him know where you're seeing him. But he walked away from home, and they're not sure exactly what happened yet. We're going to share the photos of Brody Musgrave on social media for you guys to go and find. Keep your eyes open, and if you see something, say something. Call 911. Thank you.
In Merced County, if you're in the area of East Sandy Mush Road, watch out. There is a cow wandering around. Southbound 99, Beardsley Avenue off-ramp. This is in Tulare County, a collision with no injuries. And Highway 43 at East Mountain View, there was a 4-vehicle collision. They're cleaning up after that. No injuries involved there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Staring at brake lights on the 99, 198, 180, 41, 168, or even Herndon isn't exactly inspirational. But there are aisles of inspiration at Bedrosian's Tile and Stone. If you're a new empty nester, have investment properties, or it's just time, Bedrosian's is the place to start even if you don't know what you want yet. The latest and most popular tile, stone, engineered wood, laminate, quartz, quartzite, marble, and more. In Visalia on East Main, in Fresno, Shaw and Marty, and on Golden State south of Shaw. Bedrosian's Tile and Stone.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
I am a very happy camper because I get to tell you about the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, exactly the same place I was talking to you about 15, 20 years ago. Do you know this local company is 42 years old? 42 years dabbling with trucks. I think they know what they're doing. And right now, I need to address you people that have companies and you people who are farmers with fleet vehicles. This is an area where the Noble Brothers have really carved out their expertise. Whether it's cabinets, truck racks, ladder racks, toolboxes, van interiors, van shelving, and a lot of it. Remember, I use the F word, fleet. If you have fleet needs, you need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Two of them, one out in Sunnyside, the other one on Blackstone near Sierra. I got to know them when they turned a Jeep Wrangler of mine into a masterpiece, and I just got another Jeep. And they're doing it all over again. I can't wait for the finished product. Click nobletruck.com. Noble, N-O-B-I-L-E. If it's a pickup, a van, a Jeep, oh, even a fifth wheel, you totally need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center since 1980.
I lost 41 pounds on it so far, but I want to lose a little bit more. I went from 241 down to 200. I want to get down to 180.
With the help of Andro 400, Robert lost 41 pounds. Guys, are you having trouble losing stubborn belly fat? If so, try Ultra Max T, a unique blend of natural ingredients that targets and eliminates belly fat. Ultra Max T also suppresses your appetite, so when you eat, you don't eat as much, and yet you won't feel deprived. Ultramax T curbs sugar cravings, which lowers your impulse to snack in between meals, which adds unnecessary fat to your waistline. Additionally, Ultramax T boosts and maintains energy levels throughout the day without the typical spike and crash you get from caffeine and sugar. So, to effectively lose belly fat, slim down that waistline, boost energy levels, and to look and feel your best, go to andro400.com. Free shipping plus a 90-day guarantee. andro400.com. That's andro400.com. andro400.com.
KMJ Radio, streaming, social, smart speakers, on demand, online, anytime. You're always connected with KMJ. KMJ.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
Rolling up on 6 o'clock on a Friday afternoon at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Guys, you've made a lot of great phone calls today, and with one exception. And the messages, the emails, the texts, I'm really pleased that you guys are taking this seriously. I had to be perfectly honest, I had a completely different show prepped to kind of get back to normal at 3 o'clock, and you guys took the wheel and you steered this thing, and I appreciate it. I really do, and I am relieved that our community cares enough about their kids to engage and to talk and to express grief and frustration that a child could have this happen to them at school and that the school's response could be so lacking. And again, I meant what I said. The aggressor in this, the child who committed the battery, that child needs to have their privacy, and they need to have an opportunity to learn from this and to grow to be a better person, because they are a child and that potential exists. And I want to see that kid get saved too. But the girl who was battered deserves better than how she's being treated. And you deserve better from a district that operates entirely on taxpayer money, telling you that you don't matter, that you as taxpayers, as voters, as parents, as members of the community, that the school was established in the first place to serve. To be told that you do not matter is a disgusting insult from somebody who's living off of your tax dollars. And that Bob Nelson, a guy who makes, when you factor all of his compensation, and he makes well over $400,000 a year, and he doesn't have time to talk to you. He won't make time to talk. It's not that he doesn't have it. He won't make it. That's wrong. And that when you've got a trustee who, when it's convenient for the social justice movement of the moment, to go out and talk about teachable moments, to talk about restorative justice, to talk about accountability from the district to the community, to then snub KMJ's audience because she thinks that one person at KMJ is being inappropriate and sensationalistic. That's wrong. And we will keep talking about it, and a lot of other stuff. Hopefully some of it a little bit happier than this. But again, the young lady at the heart of this story, she's going to be okay. And apparently she's going to take some jiu-jitsu lessons, and we're going to talk to the guy that offered them to her. I'm going to get out of here. The great one, Mark Levin, is on the way. Before that, we'll get an update from the Fox newsroom, and we'll hear from our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. Thank you guys for your calls, for your time, and for your attention. I'll see you Tuesday at 2 right here on KMJ.